Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about people who just really enjoyed the classics, the oldies, the throwbacks.
Like Justin Timberlake and the early 2000s.
Honestly, that does feel like an incredibly long time ago. Like, I can't believe I was alive during the early 2000s. We're here today to discuss episodes 15 to 20 of Love Island USA Season 7. And with us is a true Love Island scholar, Defector co-owner, New York Times bestselling author, creator of Normal Gossip, our dear friend Kelsey McKinney. Kelsey, thank you so much for being here.
Hello, and Claire. Thank you for having me. And let me be the first to congratulate you on 10 years. Happy anniversary. I'm so proud of you both.
Thank you.
You're so sweet. We love you.
It's like what people say about having a long marriage is just like, don't stop, just keep going. Endurance.
We did it. Yeah.
Well, they didn't send you to Casa Amor, which makes it easier.
Exactly.
That's true. We haven't had the real test of our relationship.
That's what they
Casa
should do
Amor.
when you hit like the 7-year itch stretch in your marriage, is send you to Casa Amor and just like see what happens.
I think that's called Temptation Island, Claire.
Wait, it literally is. An even more emotionally devastating show. So before we dig into this batch of Love Island, a little housekeeping. We took the week off this week over on Rich Text, but if you have missed our coverage of The Valley and Just Like That, that's what we've been covering lately. You can find those episodes at claireandemma.substack.com. And The Ultimatum Queer Love Season 2 is coming at the end of the week, so stay tuned. Lots to discuss.
Some real good stuff there.
It's so much television.
I know. But don't worry, we watched it all.
Thank you for your service.
For the people.
Yes. It was not a service. It was truly the greatest pleasure of my life. So speaking of incredibly intense pleasure, let's get into...
That is how I'm always describing Love Island to my friends and colleagues.
It's just a more reference to kind of the softcore porn vibes. Let's get into Love Island episodes 15 to 20. We left off last week with this dramatic recoupling that ended with Jalen getting voted out and Huda being saved for the second time by her fellow Islanders.
Wow.
Despite the fact that they were constantly talking shit about what a disaster she was and how she needed to change.
Like the early 2000s, Jalen's existence on this show feels like a lifetime ago.
I know.
Yeah.
I keep getting confused seeing references to him because I'm like, do you mean Jaden? There is a bombshell named Jaden, but there's no Jalen. I don't know him.
I also, when I was coming in here today, I was like, wow, I wonder how many episodes we'll be talking about it. I wonder what happened in them. Because in my mind, I'm like, I've seen hundreds of hours of this show. And
Fair.
I'm like, any of it could have happened at any time now.
We're here to walk you through this. So Huda has just
God.
been saved. She's now the only single Islander. And she is like, I can't believe my friends love me so much. I'm so grateful to them. She takes Taylor and Alondria aside. The three of them seem to have a very sweet friendship, and they're always sort of like, we love you, please change.
Yeah.
And
they're like, we love you. You gotta stop. Do not speak to Jeremiah. Do not cross go. Do not say a single word in that man's direction. Do not look at him. We
do
need
not
peace
call
in
Iris
this villa.
Do not call Iris a bitch anymore, please.
Better yet, don't call anyone a bitch.
Oh, what? I mean, let's aim in a realistic direction for now. And she's like, but it's so unfair that Jeremiah this and Jeremiah that. And they're like, no, stop. We're done with that. You're not to speak his name anymore. And she's like, okay. So this is the beginning of what I think the Islanders all hope, and many in the audience hope, will be Huda's redemption arc. And it goes better than I expected during this batch of episodes.
Honestly, same.
I want to speak a word in support of Taylor, who I know is not the most beloved member of this cast. But I loved him in that whole sequence where I was like, okay, it's like giving my friend's husband who I actually like. Like when he was standing in the door frame while she was talking to Jeremiah, being like, stop it. Like, do I need to come in there and pull you off of him? I will. I was like, okay, actually, I love this and I support
this is the thing. I don't really buy Taylor's romance with Elandria, which sucks because I really like Elandria. And the minute that he was like, I'm not really into her physically, I was like, oh, I see what's
wrong
going on here.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, what's wrong with you? Second of all, she doesn't know that. And you're just kind of coasting in this comfortable couple. And that pisses me off because she deserves better. However, as a friend, he is amazing and he's great TV. So that's kind of my...
I support his existence on this show. I actually really enjoy that dynamic between him, Elandria, and Huda. And he seems to be like one of the few people who can actually get through to Huda and de-escalate with her.
Yeah.
And he has emotional intelligence. We'll get to this, but it's like the way that he interacts with the other boys, I'm like, oh, you actually know how to have a friendship and you're not just like dependent on the women around you.
Yeah, and you're not just like having friendships by telling them what to think and what to do. And
you're not
asserting your dominance over them. So of course, as you mentioned, Huda immediately breaks her pinky promise and goes and pulls Jeremiah for a chat while Jeremiah is talking shit with Iris about how toxic Huda is. And Huda clearly thinks that she can adhere to the letter of her promise by just sort of whispering during this conversation.
She did say she wouldn't yell at him.
I do prefer to not hear her yell. So.
And it sort of starts to escalate into a disagreement about who was more toxic, which is when Taylor kind of pops in and is like, what up? What's going on over here? And she's like, no, it's fine. I just wanted to say, like, no hard feelings. I wish you the best. And he's like, same. And they leave things in a pretty good place. I think there was also a lot of confusion about what was going on with the Jalen Huda vote. And they do kind of explain it a little bit in this next episode after the break. And as always, the explanations don't make sense. Like, we'll see this even more later. But Ace is like, I saved Huda because I didn't see effort from Jalen, even though I've been going so hard at Huda and trying to get her off the show and she's been behaving badly. Jalen just didn't give enough effort. I'm like, okay, like, or you just rather have a single woman in the house than a single man. You'd rather Taylor not have competition.
Percent. Also, Ace loves mess and Ace loves control.
Yeah.
We talk about this a lot in like true strategy games, right? Like Survivor, Big Brother, Traders, like strategy games that like no amount of gameplay thought will overcome the fact that just someone isn't your friend. And I think like in reality, it's like Huda's kind of in the group of people that a lot of those people are in and Jalen wasn't. And so it's like, well, goodbye.
Yeah. I thought the fact that they were all so visibly fed up with her at this point might have put her outside of that. Mm-hmm. And it seems like that was still stronger than their annoyance with her. But it's always funny to see them trying to like put these sort of palatable, like, I'm just going by the rules of the game and who's doing the best job. I'm like, but none of that has anything to do with why you made this decision.
Absolutely zero.
Meanwhile, we learned that Amaya thinks she can't get married unless she's good at ironing.
And
Amaya,
she's not.
Sweetie. And it's okay. I'm married.
Yeah.
Also, she was ironing her own pajamas.
Okay, yes. I was like, why?
We were like, why
Why?
are you ironing these?
Don't need...
Not everything needs to be ironed. In fact, let me tell you, very few things actually need to be ironed.
I pretty much never iron. It simply doesn't come up very much.
That's not my business.
But if I am going to iron something, it's not something I'm about to wear
to bed.
In bed. Like, what are you doing? And that brings us to the next episode, which is True Delight.
My God.
Is this Milk?
This is Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh my God.
Did you forget? It was like a century ago. Megan Thee Stallion was here.
I love this. I love when they bring a true celebrity fan of a show onto the show. We used to get this with The Bachelor in a really great way. Like Claire and I have been revisiting Caitlin Bristow's season.
Oh,
and we have
yeah.
like an incredible Amy Schumer cameo.
Yep.
This Megan Thee Stallion is like a scholar. She has watched the season. She knows everyone's name. She is doing all the little memes. Like,
And well, that's
it
the
is
thing.
amazing.
Even with The Bachelor, you would never get this kind of turnaround. Like the nature of the show is such that you have barely absorbed the memes from last week, and already Megan Thee Stallion is doing the memes live
love it.
on the new.
She's like,
episode.
Mommy, Mamacita.
The thing that was killing me about this, though, is I'm like, Megan Thee Stallion is watching this show like we are, right? Like the Mamacita conversation is between Nick and Huda. It's a private conversation. No one else has seen it. So I'm like, I know she's saying it to the camera, but it's like her understanding of what's going on in the house is actually greater than the people she's talking to,
Yes,
which is
yes.
so funny. I'm like, this rules.
And that it kind of emphasizes something that's always true about reality TV, but I think in Love Island it's even more true because of the real time unfolding and the votes and everything, is all the dramatic irony. It's like everyone has different levels of information. The audience has information, and the people on the show are trying to figure out like what information do they have, making guesses about it and guessing wrong. And then people off the show are like, well, I think I know what's going on from what I see, but they clearly know something from being in the house with this person that I don't know. And I'm going to try to make my
Incredible.
decision based around that. It's like a Jane Austen novel. They're all like,
Yeah,
I
that
just am trying to
is-
work with the information I have here.
And that is exactly why we spend like 8 hours a week on this show.
Exactly. This is the Jane Austen of our time. Who would not want to spend 8 hours a week on that? And also, very importantly, Megan Thee Stallion is here to flog her hot girl swim line and point
Get your
out how
bag,
hot the
girl.
women look in her swimsuit.
You know what? They did look hot. Great ad.
They did.
They did. It was just like almost a spit take because she's like so in the. It almost felt like a podcast appearance.
I
She's
know.
here. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm a celebrity. I'm such a fan of you and your work. And what am I here to promote? My swim line."
I honestly loved how direct it was. It was just like, no, I do love this show, and also this is SpawnCon. I'm
QR
not gonna
code
try to
on
like
the screen.
slide in a little like, oh, this package from Amazon just arrived. No, she's like, I am here. I have a swim line. You're gonna put it on. You're gonna look hot. Also, I'm gonna do a meme.
Yeah, and she's gonna judge a twerking challenge.
The vibes in the house were so bad before she walked in, and I was
And then
like,
they got so good.
I was like, this is an incredible con by the producers to be like, okay, the vibes are in the dirt, everyone's in a bad mood. Megan Thee Stallion, and everyone's just like screaming.
Oh, everyone
Yeah.
is like delighted. Everyone is ready to do their best or worst twerk, but with their best efforts. And
Yeah,
it is a goddamn delight.
she had to do some pretty strong reaching to not give every round to the
To the
girls.
women.
There were some choices where I was like, I know the producers told you that you had to make it neck and neck because there's no way that he did a better job twerking. So the men are all just kind of like poking their butts around. And
I
this
think
sort of
she's like, you really put in effort. I'm going to give you the point.
okay,
Austin.
okay, Austin.
It is crazy to me the level of like willingness they had to just like deeply embarrass themselves in front of one of America's
It's so
hottest
great.
women. Like, I'm
It's
like, this
so
is
awesome.
incredible television. I love
Well,
it. Yeah, let them try. Whatever
Yeah.
Taylor's doing, sure.
More
As-
of it. Give
as-
me more. Extended take. Release it.
As I was watching this Bachelor episode, I was thinking a lot about the differences between Bachelor type contestants and Love Island type contestants. And I think that is one of the key things because the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, you'd often have them
Yeah.
being sort of like, oh no, I'm such a bad dancer. Like, she's not going to think that I'm like cool after I do this. They're all just like, oh yeah, like I'm a bad twerker. Hell yeah. Like, I'm going to do it on Megan Thee Stallion. I'm 23 and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then the final part of the challenge is building a 3D puzzle of their new bombshell. And hilariously, it's very difficult to get the details right when making a puzzle that is mostly naked limbs.
Yeah. A lot of them seem interchangeable until you step back and someone has like 4 hands on like coming out of their thigh or whatever.
Yeah, they're like, that all looks kind of, it's just flesh, you know, it seemed right.
Oh my God.
And the reward that the women get when they win is TJ, a bombshell who claims to have everything. He's smart, funny, he has good looks. He follows Andrew Tate and Tory Lanez on social media. Just kind of like everything you want in a man.
Yeah.
This comparison, like sending in TJ and then sending in
Andrina,
I was like, oh. So
no,
this
I
is
was honestly
a
like,
deeply
this is
unfair
actually
show.
the difference between being a straight woman and a straight man. They're like, your great prize. This Andrew Tate following 23-year-old.
Him?
And all the women have to be like, he's hot, he's giving, never seen anything better. And the men are just like truly drooling. Like,
yeah. Andrina looks like she stepped out of an Instagram photo, like fully filtered.
Incredible woman.
She is Dominican. She was born in Spain. She's into Nick, Jeremiah, and Ace. And she just graduated with a degree in global business. And you know what? The men really want to get up in her global business.
Claire's been sitting on that one for days.
Claire, good one. It's like the All-Star game where they get to dunk with a trampoline. Like,
exactly. Thank you. The guys are all very interested in Andrina because she's a hot Latina, and that's very sexy. Jeremiah loves Latinas. That's his number one type of woman. And Nick is also a fan, even though he's never gotten to date a hot Latina before. So they're all like ready to fetishize the fuck out of her.
She's also so tall. Like, this is not like that relevant, but she's unbelievably tall. Like when she walked in, I was like,
yes,
oh, I think
it's
she's
just
like...
that a lot of the men are also
tall. It's always hard for me to clock that with women on these shows because the men are all unusually tall, except for Ace.
Jinx.
My short king.
Yes.
No, yeah, we love that. I mean, to me, everyone is tall, so it's like I have a hard time.
Yeah, it's like, what's a couple more inches here and there?
Right.
Or
It's
like
just like
6
she's
more inches.
Larger than life, right? Like, it's like you have this perfect body. You're so tall. Gorgeous girl. I'm so happy for her.
It's like a Michelangelo statue of a beautiful woman.
Exactly.
Wow. Like, what's it like up there? What's it like with that face?
Yeah. What's it like for you to exist in the world? It seems like it must
I can't
be kind
even
of
imagine.
So the men start talking to the Andrina, and he gets very nervous and is like, I get nervous when a new pretty girl talks to me, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
And you're like,
which is
Nick,
literally
working.
something that Greg said to me on our first date. And it
Nick
works.
and Greg, they're the same. I mean, someone pointed out that Nick looks like the Gen Z Walton Goggins, and I was like, it's all I can see now.
Yes.
Every time he smiles, I'm just like, it's Goggins.
I love Nick.
I know.
I'm firmly in his camp, unfortunately.
Same.
I can't get out of here.
Whatever he's doing, it's working on me. Like, I'm developing a huge crush. It's a problem. And as soon as I develop a crush on a reality show man, I lose my objectivity. So everything he does, I'm like, well, I'm sure it's from the best of motives.
His intentions, definitely pure.
Hard eyes.
I'm going to try to keep it chill, but watch this space. I am in love with Nick. Huda starts getting in the game at this point as well, because she's like, I'm single. I got my second chance. It's time to start pulling guys for chats. And so what she does is she goes up to the person that one of her good friends, who's been very supportive of her, has been coupled up with, while they are next to each other at the breakfast bar. And she whispers in his ear that she'd like to chat with him and pulls him away without saying a word to Hannah, who is 2 feet away.
Bad move. I was like, Huda. Baby doll, I love it. I love it for you. Get in the game. Get in there. Have fun. A little more finesse.
Mm-hmm.
A little think about it.
Because the thing
also
is
this man
that
isn't into you.
He's not into her, first of all.
Not at all.
And then the fact that she put him in this awkward position also is a turnoff for him. He's clearly like, it's weird that she did that in front of Hannah, and I feel like distracted by that. And like, I should feel some type of way about it. It's just not strategic.
No, and also Hannah's, as you said, has been like a really good friend to her. So maybe that wasn't the best person to go after.
Yeah. And then in her confessional, she says she's excited to have chats again, to which I say, again?
When have you
didn't
had
even-
a chat? Name one time you've had a chat. Like,
She's both like, I can't wait to do it again. And also, I've literally never chatted to a man in my life. How am I supposed to know how to do it? But Hannah saw what happened and she's not happy. So that becomes sort of a running problem. Meanwhile, Sierra and Nick decide to take things to the next level.
For 25 whole seconds.
25 beautiful seconds. One of the best 25-second spans of Nick's entire life, which I bet it was.
unfortunately, I do think this endeared me to Nick more because I was like,
know.
I love that he just came out
He was
and was like,
honest.
I don't know, man. It was 25 seconds. She's so hot. And I'm like, you know what? That's so
She
true.
is.
She is
Yeah.
so hot.
You should like give her flowers. She was so hot that you could not hold it in. Like
all.
the people need to know.
I also love that they're all just like having sex quietly for 25 seconds right next to all their friends.
Yeah, and everyone knows. In the morning, everyone's like,
Obviously.
So Sierra, you had it. Like they're like under the covers quietly, but like they're
Come
about
on.
2 feet away from each
they're
other.
like they're 12 inches away from the next person, like on either
Yeah.
side.
It just made me think of how pissed I would be if this happened when I had like a roommate in my college dorm. And they're all just like, hell yeah, girl. Heard you getting it on 2 feet away from me last night. And I love that.
Yeah, I mean, when I was on my gap year, I lived in a room with like 5 people. Like and
Yeah,
I've
shit
experienced it.
happens.
It happens. Like, you know, it's young and in love. Okay,
Yeah.
young and horny.
The hormones
It's-
can't be stopped. She's very happy in the morning. And when Nick brings her breakfast, he sees that TJ brought her tea because as the single gentleman, his role is to bring everyone their coffees and teas. And he takes the tea away. And I was like, oh no, this is a rom-com. I'm into it. Like he's
Yeah.
jealous.
He's
And then-
jealous.
I'm like, get more
Oh,
jealous,
no.
Nick. You should be jealous. I want Nick to like be more nervous that he's gonna
Well,
lose
this is the
Sierra.
thing. He should be, if he's jealous, then be jealous. Lock shit down.
Mhm.
He won't.
He keeps taking away her tea from TJ, and then he's like, "I love that we're open still." And
He's
can
like, I
keep
love that we're
exploring."
open so that I can go hit on Andrina because I've never dated a hot Latina before.
Right. We're so open that I could maybe finally date a hot Latina, but we're not so open that you get to have tea with your breakfast.
Also, may I speak? Nick
Yes.
famously lives in Florida. How have you not dated a hot Latina? Like, you're in Miami.
I do think that he was in a relationship for like 4 years and he is like 24. So I wonder if it's
Oh.
partly that he hasn't
I
actually
can't.
dated
Every
that
time I
many
have a
people.
criticism of him, I'm like, I take it
He
back.
hasn't dated that many people, but he has told 50 different women that he loves them.
That's so true. The numbers aren't adding up.
I
I need to.
I have questions.
We need to get Nick on the Vile Files for like a really in-depth rundown of his
or
romantic
on this
history.
podcast, just saying, Nick, doors open
Hey.
after you do all your other podcast rounds.
With just our interview will be just cross-examining you about everyone you've ever told you love them.
Yeah.
As if Claire, your interview will just be you, Claire, sitting there like, hey.
I have a really tough question. Like, how
Really
do you
hard
smile
question.
like that?
What's your favorite movie?
How do you feel about Mamacitas
Yeah.
who are
What
37?
about slightly older ones? Just slightly.
Anyway, moving on from my embarrassing crush, let's talk about the What's Your Beef challenge, which Kelsey is the milk challenge.
Oh my God.
This is crazy.
This was crazy. This made me a little nauseous. And also I loved watching it.
I've never seen anything this disgusting on television ever in my life. This was
I'm
shocking.
Watching Love Island UK, also the current season, because I have no boundaries. I don't know why I'm doing that, but it is crazy watching like Love Island UK, where they're like, "Hello, welcome to this challenge where we literally spin one bottle around and then you kiss whoever the bottle lands on, and then it's like direct into the US challenge where it's like we're gonna spit milk in each other's mouths."
I love it.
What is going on?
No, I think it's hilarious. This is just feeling like the sexiest, horniest summer camp vibes. Like
Yes.
all these shows always just give me such intense summer camp vibes. Maybe I'm just exposing myself that I went to like a really weirdly intimate summer camp. But we would like do weird shit where it was like do a public challenge just to show how like intense we are. And I swear we did something once where it was like they played My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard, and there was like milk and fruit, and it had to be like passed down the line, and everyone like spit back in and then like drank more. Yeah, I know. I'm really exposing myself.
Wow.
I think I
summer
went
camp.
early so I didn't have to like really
And
experience it.
people have been trying to convince me to send my kids to summer camp.
You
Unbelievable.
should. They'll get a really good immune system and also explore some boundaries.
And also mono.
Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah.
I think part of
Better
it
to get
was-
it early, Claire.
That's so true. When your immune system is robust.
Oh,
I-
God.
Part of what was so crazy to me about this challenge too is that it was like incredibly hot to watch. Like I was like, oh, this is very much working for me. I like this. It's funny.
The smell was what really,
And then
them
they were
talking
all-
about the smell
It would
was
be
what
like-
made me really ill.
That's what was so funny about it to me is it would be like cut of Nick holding Sierra's face while he spits into her mouth, direct into confessional of someone being like, my hair is sticky. I smell like milk.
Well,
I was
because
like,
at
this is a
first I was
crazy
like,
dichotomy.
are they just, is
Is
this
it
just
water?
like white water?
Yeah.
Like have they put some sort of food coloring or something in this? No, they're like, I smell rancid and I'm nauseous.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
what really made me ill.
I
I,
mean-
was like, oh, no.
I'm sorry. I know I keep going back to this comparison, but this really was like watching like an orgy scene, like
Intentionally,
Yes.
Claire.
in a porn, and
Yes,
then it
someone's
cuts
done
to
their
the
research.
actors describing how their hair is just like thick
Matted.
with semen, you know,
Yes.
like which you don't actually, to my knowledge, see in those.
They don't usually do
films.
Not
like
what you
like a
crave.
gag
Yeah.
reel of
So it's like
porn
you're really
where-
getting into this movie. You're like, oh yeah, like there's cum everywhere, and then it's like, oh no, like I got some in my eyebrows. Like I feel so gross. Really takes you out of it.
That's so true.
Anyway, on that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we will get more into the full mechanics of this challenge and the effects that
Oh,
it
thank
has
God.
on our noble islanders. And we're back. So, as we have kind of touched on, basically the challenges involve like each islander getting a chance to like with their couple do certain challenges, and then they each like pick an islander who isn't in their couple to make out with for one of them. It kind of culminates in these two very milky challenges where they transfer milk from an udder
Very milky.
to the other person's mouth and then spit it into a bucket. And then the bucket has a question written on it, and the answer to that question, they have to dump milk on that person. Like, who should leave the herd? And then they take the milk and decide who they think should like get dumped from the island. They dump the milk on that person.
Whichever producer came up with this should get a raise. Like that's
I
a
agree.
crazy challenge.
I
It's
completely agree.
insane. It's like, oh, if they think that you shouldn't be here anymore, and also you get covered in mingled milk and saliva, like it's so humiliating.
yes.
And so obviously it's hard to take this as all good fun. And Huda and Jeremiah are getting a little bit prickly because they are getting a lot of saliva-filled milk dumped on them.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing that comes up during this challenge, but I should say after the part where they pour milk on someone, then they have to get on a blanket under a milk shower
I just
and make out with their partner really like intensely. And
brilliant
So-
design. It's crazy.
so aside from like pissing off all the people that they keep milking, the other thing that happens is that a couple of the women get uncomfortable with their partner's other actions during this challenge.
I'd say specifically Sierra.
Well, I was
because
also
Nick-
thinking of Hannah, but that's
Yeah.
more directed at Huda because of Huda's decisions. But Sierra is really upset, although she tries to hide it, because Nick is really going for it.
he is doing the most. He is licking Iris from like navel to neck. It's a lot.
Sierra's
and
like,
it's
I think he's
not
still.
necessary.
I think Andrina still has like Nick's handprints on her ass. Like he is getting so. She's like, you didn't need to get that into it, haha. But you didn't
As a
need to.
television watcher, I'm like, yes, he did. Like incredible television. Like,
I needed that.
understand that it hurt. Like that that's incredibly painful. And I'm like, do it back, right? Like, that's
Right.
the game. That's what we're doing here.
I
Go
know.
too
This is why I
hard.
love Love Island challenges.
Yeah. But the other thing is that Nick gets picked by a single person to do it with. And so he spends even more time than Sierra has the opportunity to, like, really going to town on some other women.
True.
And what happens with Hannah and Huda is that Huda is single, and so she picks Pepe to do the challenge with her since she's single. TJ chooses Iris, Andrina picks Nick. And it's one of those things where, like, in theory, she could pick anyone. Maybe they feel like she should have picked TJ since he's also single and she's been talking with him as well. Also, like, there is this sense that, like, because she still hasn't talked to Hannah directly about Pepe, it's especially weird to, like, push it in her face here.
She could have just given Hannah a heads up and it, like, wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
It was just stupid.
So after the challenge, they're all kind of like, so, Huda, you picked Pepe. What's the deal with that? And Huda tells Taylor and Nicolandria that she picked Pepe because she forgot that they would have to kiss on the blanket. She's like, I thought I would just pick Pepe and then I would pick TJ as the person to make out with. Like, okay, you just sat there and watched everyone make out under a milk shower.
Like,
you forgot.
Huda.
You forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Alandria's like, did you talk to Hannah about any of this first? And Huda says no. And Alandria makes an incredible face. She's like,
Yeah.
You should have.
I do think it was very funny watching this where, like, Hannah was clearly more upset with Huda than with Pepe. And it was like, yeah, because they had no chemistry. Like, watching them try to do this was like, there's no danger there, right? Like, whereas, like, Sierra watching it, it's like, oh, that's dangerous to me. Like, there's chemistry. I think Nick can just have chemistry with, like, a log.
Purely a friendship violation.
Yeah.
Like, and Pepe even says to Hannah, like, I mean, it was uncomfortable because I'm kind of pissed at her for how she's been treating you. And you've only been a good friend to her. So I didn't feel that great about it. And that's clear. Like, whenever Huda approaches him, he's sort of like, me? Like, why are you talking to me? This isn't a thing. Why are you acting like it's a thing?
Huda does not know how to read the room. That's
but
become
also
very clear.
She doesn't have options because none of the guys are interested in her.
Yeah,
they all
right.
were there for her crash outs over Jeremiah, except for TJ, who clearly just, like, for whatever reason, because he knows about it or because she's not his type, is not into her at all. So she's like, I can only talk to Pepe and TJ, like the newest guys, I guess.
Yeah.
But they're not feeling it. So she's like, what? Do I just give up?
Yeah, she's fighting for her life.
No, she doesn't really have good options. I will very much give her that, which is why I was so glad when we were like, yes, let's get her to Casa.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, I guess I can tell her I'm new to this, so I didn't know. Like, no, you've been here the whole time. Like, let's not do this.
Also, she's
always,
your
like,
friend.
playing dumb. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They finally sit down to clear the air. Finally, far too late. And Huda's like, I'm sorry. It didn't occur to me to pull you to ask. And Hannah's like, look, you don't need my permission, but I've been a good friend to you.
Yeah.
Like, I've been pretty ride or die for you. So that hurt my feelings.
Yeah, you could have just, like, told me that was going to happen so that it didn't feel weird. And Huda's like, oh, yeah, now I know. But, like, I'm so new to this pulling for chats thing. I don't know. Like, I didn't know what to do. Okay.
Okay.
And Huda keeps being like, we're all good. We're still friends. Like, it's fine. I love you. And I'm like, I don't think that Hannah is good. Like, Hannah hasn't done anything to you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she milked Huda, but that was part of the game. Like, they were all gonna milk Huda.
Right.
Sorry. Hannah just seems
that's just
sad.
sort of like lingering there. It never escalates into like a full-blown fight, but the tension is just sort of below the surface.
I have to feel like this is related to what happened to Hannah later. Because after this, we also see Huda telling Shelly and Nicolandria, like, you are my closest friends here. Yeah. And prior to that, it seemed like she and Hannah were also close. And now there's just this, like, another wedge between Hannah and the OG girl group because Huda isn't comfortable with her anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
Made me sad. Meanwhile, Austin and Amaya have been coupled up, and he was so excited to be chosen and have someone who was all about him. And now that she's like around him all the time, he is not so happy that she is all about him.
Yeah, in fact, he like hates her, but also won't tell her.
Yeah, their couple confessionals are hilarious because she's like, we're just focused on each other and building our connection, which is so amazing. And he's
so amazing what we have. And Austin's
behind
like
her
trying
back,
to move away from her.
He's like sitting behind her, like side-eyeing her.
I saw this TikTok that I just like can't even look at Austin on my screen because it was like Austin is the evil Winklevoss twin, like he's their Wario, and I just look at him and I'm like, get out of here, like you can't be in here. Like until last episode I was like, I don't think this man can read, and that's why they're not ever giving him a text. Like I was like, I don't like him. I don't know what's going on with him.
I would not be surprised. It's funny because I don't think that the Winklevoss twins need a Wario.
They're their own
Wario. The
Wario.
But I have been kind of thinking of him as like a Wilson or Wario, a Wilson brother Wario, because he's giving me so much like Luke Wilson, but evil.
But evil.
But like just like such a dirtbag. And
bless you.
The fact that he is not telling Amaya about this is really frustrating, because what ultimately has to happen is that she goes from giddy and excited that he wanted to be with her to being like, hey, it seems like you don't feel comfortable when I call you babe or when I touch you. And he's like, no, it's great. That's who you are. You're affectionate. I'm just getting used to it. Meanwhile, he's going to the guys and being like, she's acting like we've been together for years. It's like way too much. She held my arm too much when we were watching the milk challenge.
Austin, tell her then. She literally asked you straight up.
At least Ace set his boundaries at all.
Even like he was a dick about it, but he did say the thing. Austin's like too chicken shit to even say, hey, this is too much. I need us to dial it back. She asked you.
Yeah. He wants to benefit from having her picking him.
The safety.
Yeah. And he also wants to like get in with the guys by like talking shit.
Yeah. I don't like it. It's a thumbs down for me. Mm-mm.
And ultimately she's like, I just have to step back to protect myself, even though he won't tell me that he's bothered by it. She tells Elandria, the boys are making me feel crazy. Like, he literally is kind of gaslighting her by sending all of these signals about how he feels and then denying it.
No, there's nothing wrong. I'm not uncomfortable. Sir.
There is something wrong, clearly.
Yeah. The bombshells explore the Islanders a little bit more. Sierra talks to TJ, who reveals that he has an old dad who is 72. And now TJ needs to hurry up and get married and have kids to prove to his dad that he's a good person before he dies.
I think he should prove to his dad he's a good person by unfollowing Andrew Tate.
What an idea.
That's my opinion.
He's like, I'm racking my brain. What can I give my dad for Father's Day this year to show that he raised an amazing son? I know. I'll go on Love Island and marry someone or unfollow Andrew Tate.
Something I do really love about this show and about just reality TV in general is that sometimes people come in and their core trauma is so clear and they are just immediately like, here's the thing that hurts me the most to this person they've never met and also all of America. And I'm like, wow, I do understand you better. And also, you should learn to not say that immediately. Like, I'm sorry that your dad doesn't love you. That's hard.
It's called being vulnerable and letting your walls
down. You're so right.
It's
I don't believe in that, though,
raw
famously.
and authentic.
Well, clearly you need to watch a little more of The Bachelor, and that will teach you.
I know that editing is part of this, but it really feels like TJ talks about this all the time. Like, he sits down with every new bombshell and is like, so a little bit about me. I need to marry someone. I have an old dad and I need to marry someone soon to prove to him that I'm a good son. So that's just kind of my whole deal. Also, I like to what does he like to do?
I have no idea.
I don't know else about him.
Also, like, nothing makes a girl feel special like feeling like someone's on a time crunch and you were there, right? Like, that's not, stop it.
Do you want to prove to my old dad that I'm a good person with me for the rest of our lives?
Yikes.
Meanwhile, Nick and Andrina are also flirting. And so we get this moment where Nick and Sierra are both shown kind of talking to the bombshells, and then like confessionals of each of them saying like, I think I do want to stay open and explore more, even though I'm getting deeper feelings in my couple. There's still more for me to get out of being open. And they're playing Chappell Roan's Casual over this montage. And I was like weeping. I'm getting so invested in I was like, this is the thing about this is that I get frustrated sometimes at Nick for not committing. But I'm also like, this is
I love
story. It's unfolding like
Claire's
over the course of the season.
He's edging me with his non-commitment. And I love it.
If he just gave that commitment up too soon, then we wouldn't have a rom-com arc.
Exactly.
No,
I'm true. Honestly, I'm with you. I need this tension. I need the back and forth a little bit. Because at this point, I'm like, Sierra and Nick are all we have to root for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Maybe things will shift over the next couple of weeks in that department.
Next couple of days.
Next couple of days.
Yeah.
Huda is flirting with TJ as well, and he also seems very not into it. But Jeremiah is really connecting with Andrina by the mouth because they are making out.
Hell yeah.
And also Iris goes to Jeremiah because she's really been connecting with TJ, and she goes to Jeremiah and is like, we're friends, right? And he's like, yeah, we're friends. Yeah. They're like just friends, to be clear. Like this was never romantic, right? Okay, we're on the same page.
It's very much like a Nora Ephron style breakup where it's just beautiful and mutual and there's no hard feelings.
Wait, you have secretly been in love with someone else? So have I.
I'm so glad we can end our engagement right here. No harm, no foul.
But then it seems like something shifts with Sierra after what we see with her and TJ, because she starts to seem to want a little more exclusivity with Nick. And it's hard to kind of pinpoint where this comes from.
Mm-hmm. I felt like it came
with
from
the timeline.
I felt like it came mostly from the challenge.
Yeah, that's interesting. I felt like it came mainly from the conversation she had with him after the challenge, where they were talking about exclusivity and whether they were going to stay.
That's what I mean. I mean, that's what led to that conversation.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Maybe she's just kind of talking with him about it and also talking to the bombshells and being like, maybe I don't need to be exclusive. But then she kind of comes back around to it bothered me that Nick didn't want to be exclusive. And so that's kind of the stronger feeling I'm having. And so she has this conversation about the challenge with him. And she's like, I really didn't enjoy seeing what you got up to. It was too much. You didn't need to be quite so grabby and licky. And
she doesn't say that. Those are Claire's words.
Yes, to be clear, mostly when I am relaying what they say, it's my own
paraphrasing.
Original paraphrasing.
Direct quote, grabby and licky.
Yeah, this is art from life. It's, this is The Crown. And she's like, I don't want to hide my feelings from you. That's just how I'm feeling. And he admits that he is attracted to Andrina. And he's like, exploring is just what the challenges are for. And I think that's fine.
And he's like, you can do it too.
Yeah.
And this is when Sierra makes it clear that she just simply doesn't quite have the interest to be as licky and grabby as Nick is.
I
found the way that he interacts with her in this scene so strange compared to the way that he's interacted with her in general and the way that we'll see him interact the next day. She's kind of coming to him in a bid of I'm worried that I'm more invested in this than you. Not in a bid of if this isn't exclusive, we're in trouble, right?
She's looking for that little bit of reassurance and just being hey, I'm doing you a solid by just being super honest that I had some weird feelings about what I saw. And he's like, well, I'm into Andrina and you could do it too.
He really gives her
Sierra,
nothing.
I would feel like shit after this conversation.
Yes.
And it's quite a journey from after they had sex in the morning. He seems really giddy about it and excited about her. And he's starting to look kind of swoony in the eyes. And suddenly he's like, well, you check the most boxes for me of anyone I've met so far. And I do see that I could date you outside the villa, but I'm not closed off and that's fine.
I was screaming on my couch. I was so mad.
This is the moment of the big misunderstanding in the rom-com, right? And it's all going to work out.
Claire's like, it's good because Nick is so good. He's such a good boy. He's so hot.
It is frustrating, though, that it's like, it seems like he does really like her and really wants to be with her. And then you watch this conversation where you're like, oh, you're not hearing her. You're not hearing what she's actually saying. You're hearing something that isn't there.
Yeah. He's not hearing her. And I also think he's just thinking about himself. And he's like, but what if there's a better one? There is just this like, and it's not like an indication that Sierra is lacking. He's just like, well, but what if a better one comes and then I'm committed to this one?
Has he seen Sierra?
Yeah, there's no better one.
What do you mean? What if there's a better one, babe? Like,
there's no better one. Like, this is top shelf. I feel like one of the thing that we're just drawn to is that I think of all of the women and all the couples there, he seems the most like someone who is trying to kind of like, who is genuinely interested in his partner romantically, sexually, and sort of trying to authentically, to some extent, move through exploring that in the process of the show, as opposed to like it doesn't seem as much like strategy to me. And
I agree.
That doesn't always mean that he is being such a wonderful partner, for sure.
That was brave of you to criticize him, Claire, and I'm
I know, it's so hard. He's Mamacita's little meatball.
Should we make hats that say that? Mamacita's little meatball.
Could they come in kid sizes for my boys?
Yes. So cute.
They're my little meatballs. And so is Nick. Okay. So that night, Sierra is so sad in the beauty room that the women ask her what's wrong, but she won't talk about it. And when she goes to bed, she is cold to Nick and turns away from him to sleep.
This is where I'm like, they really had two different conversations in that one conversation they had, because he clearly is like, wait, what happened?
Thrown. He's very thrown by this.
Why are we not cuddly? Why am I in the doghouse? Like, what happened? And I'm like, how do you not know?
Right. He thought that he was just reestablishing that he likes her. He likes her the most, but they're not closed off, and that's what they kind of agreed on, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I was expressing that I am getting real feelings for you, and you didn't really address that.
Yeah. And you said, I think Andrina's hot.
Oh Lord, he's just oblivious, and. The next morning, she tells Shelley that if Nick is okay being in another couple, they aren't on the same page. Apparently, when asked directly, he couldn't assure her this was the couple he wanted to be in. I don't know if we missed that part or if I missed it, or if that's just her read on the conversation they had.
Yeah.
And this makes Sierra want to put her walls back up, and she needs space and an acoustic cover of Complicated plays. Mm-hmm. This show is so horror movie coded.
Corny.
It's like first like the echoey like Ian Sterling like tomorrow night, and the flames is very horror movie. But you know what else is horror movie? An acoustic cover of a pop song that hauntingly plays in the background. It gave me chills. Meanwhile, Nick is confiding in Ace about what's going on with Sierra and how she turned away from him in bed. But he's not going to ask her what's wrong if she's not telling him. Okay, man, you try that and see how it works for you.
Good luck.
And Ace is like, it is me, your 22-year-old cult leader and sex expert and relationship expert. Let me give you a little lecture. And he's like, sex changes everything, man. Like, you better be careful now. You have to be careful. And like, Claire and I were discussing this the other day. Yeah. So we were like, there's a read on someone saying sex can change things that could be not problematic, which is like, hey, like, you're you're having this like more intimate experience. You should probably take that seriously. But the way I took that Ace was framing it was like the woman brain goes crazy when you do the sex, and now she's scary.
Yeah,
so you better back away.
We're in Fatal Attraction area
a woman. Now. Yeah, I like. There's just, I don't know. There's something very dark-sided to me.
Yes. There's also something very dark about being like the 25 seconds of penetrative sex that you had with this woman has broken her brain and now she needs to marry you. Like, it's like, what are you talking about?
But at the same time, I'm like, she does seem to feel more emotional about their relationship now.
She
and
does.
He is not being careful enough about that, which is why I was so like torn by Nick and Ace's conversation. Neither of them is really taking the right tack, I think. I feel like this generation of men is so dependent on TikToks and podcasts from like male red pill influencers that they literally needed one here. They were just like, we will provide a man who will sit down with you and explain to you how the female brain works and how you can kind of game that to your advantage, because God forbid that you navigate this whole season without that kind of like input.
This does remind me of something I wanted to bring up on the show that has been having me in tears in every single episode, which is when two new people sit down together and they're like, what's your type? And the men are like, I'm looking for someone goal-oriented, loves their family, smart. And then the women are like, I'm looking for someone tall and hot.
Tall, like, dark, and handsome, I think, specifically,
so
Kelsey.
Funny that you've like essentially trained all of these men that like, you're on television. Don't say you like blondes. Say you like people who are family-oriented.
Looks don't matter to them. Looks don't matter, Kelsey. It's not about that.
I know.
That's why you have to lick Iris from navel to neck. Because looks don't matter. She loves her family, and that's beautiful.
And she's smart.
Yeah. There's stuff going on up there in the brain that changes when you penetrate it for 25 seconds.
Not penetrate the brain.
You penetrate the brain and then it changes. And as a man, you have to be so careful about that.
It's funny because I wonder if this is like, I'm just pulling something out of a hat, so maybe this is a little wrong, but I'm like,
go there. Let's do it. Yes.
To me, the sex thing seems less possessive than him taking TJ's tea away from her. Like, there's something about that feels very like, oh, that's my man, right? Like, where it's like, oh, he took someone else's tea from you and brought you a different one and was like, this is the one you're going to drink. It's like, okay, so we're going to get married, right? Like, I'm like, that is
also like, if you're doing that little move and then being like, oh, but I get to like
be open,
maybe be with Andrina now. That feels fucked.
Like, he clearly thinks that he is cool with Ciara being open because he's not mad with her making out during challenges and he's not mad with her getting pulled for chats. But that is the exact kind of move that you do performatively once you have closed off. That's like, oh, this is my girl now. No one else gets to bring her tea. And that did, like, the first time he did it, it did, like, activate something in my brain, like a sleeper cell that was like, oh my God, he's in love.
So
that's her man.
Yeah. He loves her.
And he does it again right after he told her to explore. And I was like, Nick, don't piss me off because you're on thin ice, buddy. On that note, we're going to take a quick ad break. And when we get back, we will get into the rest of this batch of episodes.
Okay, guys, we've had a minute. We have processed our feelings towards Nick and we are ready to continue. So TJ pulls Huda for a chat to let her know he's not into her because he has seen previous episodes and he does not want to be on the receiving end of a Huda crash out. And Huda handles it well, thank God, and says one of the funniest things I've ever seen, which is like, oh, of course, I'm not the kind of person who would be like, fuck TJ. That's not me. I would never.
I'm sorry. She handles it well because she doesn't get mad, but this whole conversation is hilarious.
It's so like, funny.
I'm just not into you. It's more platonic. And she's like, can I ask why? I mean, I guess you can, but what information are you hoping to get from that?
He's like, I just don't like you.
She's like, I felt chemistry. And he's like, I didn't. And then
she's like, yell at me.
This is where I'm like, beautiful people exist in a different world than the rest of us. Like, this might be the first 2 times in her life that she's ever been rejected, right? Like, this is like, that's crazy. But I do, to defend Huda for 1 second, TJ was very clear. He was like, hey, this isn't working for me. And she was like, I don't understand, and that's crazy, but okay. Jeremiah never did that. Like, in all of their conversations, he was always like, you're my type. I like you. Things with Iris aren't real. And then would go away and do this thing. And so I'm like, to her credit, she was communicated clearly with, and she behaved normally.
I completely agree. And I did listen to Jeremiah's like exit interview on the Vile Files this morning.
Oh.
Right before taping.
Breaking news.
And he talked a lot about this actually and took ownership. He was like, my big fuck up was that I felt this discomfort and I felt like things were moving too quickly. And like, I never said that to her.
Yeah.
And instead I just tried to like live up to these expectations that were impossible. And like, that is on me. So I was happy to hear him own that part in it. He was like, you know, the things that were out of pocket were like the name calling.
Yeah.
But he owned that he had like a very, very much a hand in creating what turned into a toxic dynamic.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jeremiah, for owning that.
And I do think that's true. I'm glad they've both started to try to own what they contributed to the huge crash out of that whole relationship. But they're also like, I'm sorry, they're completely different situations. She has just been chatting a little bit with TJ.
Yes.
No one else.
Like
it's
two conversations.
It's a fair point.
We never even see anyone else get dumped in this sort of scenario. It is so clear he's doing it out of an abundance of caution. She's 100%. Still a little bit
terrified.
Weird about it. She keeps being like, it's not the end of the world, which is like, obviously, you're not even together. And
also, like, look, Huda, some of us have been rejected so many times, and it's never the end of the world.
If a guy tells me he's just not that into me, I'm like, yeah, that tracks. That's my usual experience.
Yeah, you're
you
like,
don't need to explain any further.
Definitely.
So yeah, when she's like, oh, it's not me to ever be like, fuck TJ, he's like, well, okay, sure. But like, obviously, she might have had a different reaction if they had spent a couple weeks coupled up.
Incredible soundbite, though. Incredible.
I loved it. I loved every moment of it.
Jeremiah, meanwhile, is going hard for Andrina, who is his type, a hot Latina. He feels so joyful around her. They end up making out on a couch in front of the whole villa, and everyone is watching them and like clapping and being like, ah, ha, ha, ha.
Except for Ace, who is staring at them with these two little peepers full of jealousy and rage.
Ace is an incredible character to me because...
Hater. I think you mean to say incredible hater.
He's such a hater, and he's a hater in a way that I'm like, as like game sees game, right? Like I'm like, as a hater, I'm like, I get it. I understand where we're coming from on this, but I also need you to like be on a different show.
Yes.
Like this is not a hate game. This is a lover
not
game.
Survivor. This is not Survivor or
Wrong
The Traitors.
show.
This is Love Island. You got also, you don't get to control everyone in the house.
Yeah.
You do if you're on Big Brother, which is what
you
he
should
seems
be
like
on
thinks
Big
you're
Brother.
on.
Again, you're on Love Island.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And that's
he
the
wants-
problem. He's not a lover boy.
He's micromanaging Jeremiah's approach to dating in a way that, like, as an outsider watching the show is really baffling, because what does he think is the right move? He's like, this is a pattern. Once again, he's just zeroing in on one person who's his type, and he's friend zoning like everyone else. Oh, you're just a friend now. What is he talking about? He has explored with Iris. Iris came to him and said, I think we're just friends.
Him. Iris rejected him.
I mean, pretty much everyone there who only has one person expressing interest in them is only really exploring with that one person.
Ace, please tell me all the people you've explored with. Like your one day, like actually less
Ace
than
has
like
actually
30...
explored a lot. It just didn't feel genuine at all.
Yeah, that's
okay,
a good
but
point.
he had like 30 seconds of being open to Amaya. Like he basically shut things down with her immediately. And yes, you're right. He has like had chats with other people. But I don't know, Jeremiah's now been in like with like 3 different people.
Unfortunately,
what is the right way to do it, Ace?
I think that all the girls are so beautiful that I'm like, I don't think you should be exploring. You should appreciate the queen you have at home.
Yeah.
You should go home and be a family man. Like, I have like, no, I'm like, stop it.
Whichever queen you get should be more than enough for you.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
aren't
How dare you?
satisfied with
How dare
Shelby?
you?
She's a bi icon.
Do not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thy own wife is perfectly sufficient. So it seems like something else is going on with Ace and Jeremiah. Like he has it out for him in a way where like
he just
you could
hates
look
him.
at Taylor and say you're not exploring enough. You could
Right.
look at most of these guys and be like, oh, well, you've just been locked in on one person for a couple days. With Jeremiah, everything somehow has to fit into his theory of Jeremiah.
Jeremiah's
that shows
just
why
doing
Jeremiah's
everything wrong.
Yeah. We're going to get to this with the Casa Amor split, but I'm like, there's something about the dynamic between the guys in the original villa that is just toxic. Like, it's like
bad.
they're not being like evil to each other, but I'm just like, you guys are not, this is
There's
not,
a cult
you are
leader,
not
Kelsey.
friends.
There's a cult leader.
But it's like, they don't respect him. So it's like, there's just a weird, I'm like, the vibes in here are atrocious. At least when you have a cult leader, people are usually like on the same team. Like,
I don't know. The whole thing is like very weird. And Jeremiah also said on the Vile Files that he felt like Ace just turned on him like very early because he was trying to be like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And Jeremiah was like, actually, I'm allowed to like date however I want, and I'm into Huda, and there's no one else here I'm actually like interested in. So why am I gonna like just let me live?
Just
and
let
he's
it
like,
play
Ace
out.
didn't like that.
Yeah, just let it play out. Like, it does seem like he either was worried that Jeremiah locking down so early was going to make him a tough couple to beat, or he wanted a chance to explore with Huda.
yeah.
Or
and
Andrina.
then with Andrina and Iris, and Ace was the one,
Yeah.
or Jeremiah was the one getting to them. It seems like there must have been some element of those things, because, like, what do you care if Jeremiah is not playing a good game?
Right.
So it's time for the fire pit. Nick gets a text, and they have to gather there immediately. And obviously, whenever anyone says anything on the show, someone repeats it and says, "That's crazy."
Yeah. Immediately is crazy.
Immediately is crazy. A Scorpio is crazy. Shrek 2 is crazy. Okay,
I love watching language evolve. It's beautiful to me.
It really is.
They get more texts saying that America has been voting for their favorite girl and boy. That's us. We're America. And the Islanders with the fewest votes risk being dumped tonight. Andrina and TJ, as the bombshells, were not included in the vote, which is annoying because TJ was the main person that I wanted to go home.
Bingo.
Same. I was really bummed. I was like, oh, really? This guy?
It's not too soon. We've had enough. All of the girls stand in front of the fire pit first, and we learn in no particular order who is safe. Elandria, Sierra, Shelley, and Huda. Vulnerable are Amaya, Iris, and Hannah.
This made sense to me.
Yes.
I was
that
like,
divide
this is who I expected to be safe.
I thought that Huda and Hannah might switch places, except that I knew that there was like a campaign to save Huda. So I was like not surprised by that in the end. The boys are next. Safe are Taylor, Nick, and Ace, and vulnerable are Pepe, Jeremiah, and Austin.
The minute that I saw this grouping, I was like, oh, Ace is going to take his opportunity to take Jeremiah out, and Taylor and Nick will fall in line.
Yeah.
Because we had just seen that conversation. So I was like, 100%. That's
There
what's
was
happening.
also like the minor plot line of like Nick being interested in Andrina and Jeremiah being Andrina's number one. That it's like, it's to his benefit to get rid of this guy.
Totally. Yeah. I thought that as well. And the safe Islanders have to choose, the girls have to choose a girl to go home, and the boys have to choose a boy. I thought that was really annoying because the girls are not going to date whatever girls are left, so it doesn't indicate who might have a romantic coupling to explore.
Yeah.
And also it like
the
breaks up the
men-
friendships. Like, it really like creates this strong sense of betrayal that I don't think is the case when you do it cross-gender.
Yeah, I wanted the men to have to choose a woman.
I also don't like, this is where I'm like, I'm a survivor head. Let them vote by like putting pieces of paper into a totem and those being read out, because I'm like, I don't like the consensus of like 4 people are going to choose someone to vote out, because it's like then one person can just strong arm their way through that. Like, which
which is clearly what happened with Ace.
I think so. Yeah. And it's like, no, you should have to each vote, and I should get to see who you each voted for.
Or just let America vote and just
let
send
me
home
vote.
the person who got the truly the fewest votes.
Yeah,
like,
let me vote. Let me
do it. Let me choose. I want the power.
Democracy.
Yeah. So Shelley speaks for the girls and says that they all deserve to be there, but they chose Hannah.
I gasped. I was like, what
I
the
also
fuck?
gasped.
This is crazy. I was like, obviously it will be Iris or Amaya, and it should be Iris because she is so boring.
Yeah.
I could not. it was baffling. And
Yeah.
I'm still frankly baffled, and I am frustrated that they did not show us any of the deliberations.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because I
We'll
do
get to
not
this-
understand like who this came from. And I think we still don't understand, even though
We don't.
we heard a few of them like sort of explain.
Yeah, we'll get to their like post hoc rationalizations in a
But I still
minute,
don't-
but
I don't get
I
it.
still don't buy it.
Also,
Yeah.
from a like production standpoint, it leaves too much room for people to speculate, right?
Well,
Like
exactly.
it's way too much space for people to be like, maybe Hannah did something, maybe Hannah did it, and it's like you need to show
or maybe
us why
someone
they picked
else
her.
specifically was gunning for her. And it's like, we
Exactly.
don't know. Like with
Right.
Ace, I feel like we do know because they showed
The chat.
conversation.
Yeah.
With the women, I'm like, I truly don't understand, even after their explanations, how this
And the
happened.
men were stunned, which is usually
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that means
They were
there's,
like,
there's
that
not
was the
something
last
public
one.
that like everyone in the house knows that we
Right.
don't
No,
know.
they're whispering like that was the last person that I thought.
Yeah.
The
It's
one time I
crazy.
agreed with Ace.
Yeah, because Hannah has been there longer than Iris, just as long as Amaya, and she has made more romantic connections.
And also has better friendships. So I was like, what is going
well,
on here?
I don't know
Or
if she
as
does
I
have better
thought.
friendships. Like,
I guess I thought she did.
Yeah.
right. So Taylor speaks for the boys, and they choose Jeremiah, of course. And afterwards, they both are very hurt. And it's very weird. They're packing up, and they're like, I don't know how to talk to you because you voted for me to go home.
Which is fair.
And I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it was so hard. You're like a sunflower who's the
It
light
also
of
like
the villa.
literally doesn't matter. You're going to be so pissed. It doesn't
hmm
matter what someone says. It's so
yeah.
awkward.
I mean, there's nothing you can say that,
right.
yeah. And as everyone is like picking up the pieces of this decision, Alandria's like, maybe we made a mistake. Like, now that I see how this is affecting the whole villa. Part of me was like, did they think Pepe would go home? And now that they're breaking up
I
Pepe
think
and
That's what
Hannah-
I thought
I
too.
think so,
That's
too.
what I thought too. That they were like, oh shit, we thought we were like sending a couple home, but we misread what the boys were going to do.
Yeah. Nick tells Jeremiah that it wasn't personal and they're still boys. But
I
like,
was like, Nick, bro,
obviously
it's so
personal.
personal. It's
like
whatever it is, let's make it personal.
yes.
Sorry, to quote Meg Ryan. You've got mail.
Huda then pulls Jeremiah for a final chat, and you can tell he's kind of like, okay, why?
He's like,
Yeah.
I'm angry at my friends. I don't need this right now. But
Yeah,
he
I'm not
does
even
do it.
thinking about you. You're
Yeah.
in my past. But she cries and is like, I'm sorry it had to be like this. I'm sorry for being mean to you. I still care about you. I have so many good memories with you in the villa. And he's like, yeah, totally. Same. We're good. Like, Mr. Right's going
Moving
to walk in
on.
the door. Moving on. And then he and Andrina share a final makeout because that's what he really wanted to do before he left. And once again, we see Hannah having a high-pitched, sobbing final conversation with the new love of her life. This time it's Pepe, and she's the one leaving. But again, she is the one who gets a pep talk about what an amazing girl she is and how
And
he
he's
will come
also
find
gonna
her.
find her.
Yeah.
All these people are going to be out here searching
Yeah.
for Hannah.
I appreciate Hannah for doing representation for my people whose face get really red when they cry. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you, girl. I appreciate you.
You're like, we deserve
Yeah,
love
we
too.
You deserve love
Best.
too. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they head out the door after a very dark-sided ritual where all their friends who voted them off make them smile in photo booth pictures together and are like, we love you anyway. Can't wait to hang out with our friends we like more than you. Bye. So let's talk about what they say about these votes in the next episode. The girls' explanations about Hannah are as follows. She locked in with Pepe too much and didn't make an effort to explore, but also had the experience of two great connections, which Iris and Amaya haven't had the opportunity to have yet. And they
What?
made more
I don't get
effort.
it. I don't understand. These explanations didn't help. Release the fucking tapes. I'm so confused.
Release the tapes. We need receipts.
Yeah.
Proof.
Watergate.
Evidence.
it just makes no sense. And as you said, Kelsey, it's like so annoying to even speculate because we have so little information to do it. You're like, what? I don't even know what
Yeah.
I think.
It puts people in a weird position where your instinct is to think badly about either the girls who voted or Hannah. And it's like, that's not fair. Tell us why they voted her off, and then we'll either know that one of them is evil or we'll understand
or we'll
why
think
this
that right. It's
happened.
very possible that they just like had a rationale that we don't agree with, but it like wasn't nefarious in any way. Like,
Or
that's
apparently
probably likely.
They all had different rationales that conflict with each other.
Yeah,
like,
right.
To me, it's kind of giving they just don't like her as much, which is where I go back to
totally
her
possible.
tension with Huda, who is ride or die with them, drove a bit of a wedge between her and the group. They felt bad for Hannah. They wanted Huda to treat her better, but they're also kind of like, at the end of the day, Huda's our girl and Huda and Hannah are weird now.
Yeah.
And maybe they want Pepe to be available for Huda,
or Sierra. Sierra
but I
was
think
kind
they
of trying
know
to make
that.
inroads.
I think they know that Pepe's not interested in Huda. So, but again, see, this is why this conversation's annoying. Is we just literally don't know.
Yeah, but it does rock the villa, and that's I think partly why I'm convinced that they're offering explanations that are meant to sound really generous, and we actually love Hannah so much, and that's why we sent her home, because it's the perfect capstone to her ideal villa experience. And Alandria's seeing her and Pepe cry really makes me question it, but all the decisions would have been bad, except for Iris, which would have been an amazing decision, because
I agree.
She's been here for a week and I still know nothing about her, and I'm so bored by her.
Not a drop of chemistry, not a drop of personality.
Boring.
Get her out of here.
It's funny because at one point Sierra says to someone that she and
in Casa.
Iris, that she and Iris are basically the same person, because they're both Libras, they're both from LA and own businesses, they both like purple, and I'm like, yes, but that doesn't make you similar at all. You are so different.
Yeah, at least from what we're seeing, because one of you is interesting to watch and one of you is not.
I'm like, I'm sorry, being a Libra who owns a business does not make you similar as a person to someone else who is a Libra who owns a business.
Those are just stats.
Yeah.
It's like saying that you're the same as someone because you're both 5'3".
Exactly.
No.
The stats
get
are the
it,
personality.
If you're the same height as someone, you are the same.
And so Amaya is feeling a lot of survivor's guilt. And I think Iris isn't as much. She has a more philosophical approach, but she also has a connection. And Amaya doesn't really. She can tell the guys would have rather had her go home. And that must really suck.
Sucks.
It feels bad. And I think it's partly why they should have the guys do it, because the whole point of her being there is to date the guys. And now she's still there, and the guys are pissed that she's there instead of
and not
someone
hurts
they want
everyone.
To date.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this happened last season too with Janae, where the men were like, she should have gone home.
Yeah.
Not this girl I wanted to make out with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and maybe she'll go on to find a connection and it will all be worth it. But she's sobbing in the beauty room because she feels so shitty about it. And Huda tells her, we made this decision. We love you. And I'm like, you don't love Hannah though, right? Hannah, your bestie that you still love. You don't love her anymore, it seems like. Okay. Interesting. I want to know more. And Ace is like, it should have been Amaya because we're different people. And we all know that the only kind of people who should be part of Love Island are people who are the same as Ace.
Famously.
Ace truly is like, why don't I get to make every decision? It's not fair.
Which
it's
is
not
why
fair to me
he should
personally.
go on Big Brother, because that is how Big Brother works.
Or does he just really want to be on Traitors? And he's like, the way I get on Traitors is I have to do a different show.
No, this is him he's 22. He's embarking on a career here. He's going to hit
100%
all of the shows. So then Nick and Sierra chat about their relationship again, and Sierra kind of explains why she pulled away from Nick, because he clearly didn't understand. She's like, if you're interested in being in another couple, I need to create distance because of where my feelings are. And that's why I didn't give you back scratches last night, which I know you need because you
need them.
Your Mamacita's little meatball. And Nick is like, look, to be clear, I feel like we're on our way to not being open. And our intimate night together, our intimate 25 seconds together meant so much to me. And I'm really invested in you.
But this is the conversation where I'm like, this is what she wanted from you the first time.
100%.
Like, I'm like, if you had done this, we
there
wouldn't
have been no
had this
problems.
problem because you just communicated, I really like you.
Men
which is what
listen
she wanted.
Challenge.
Challenge.
That's
impossible.
a crazy challenge. Please be for real. That's impossible.
You're so right. I'm too demanding of straight men.
But you know
That's
what?
my problem.
Thank you for admitting it.
This is why I believe in men and their growth, is that not only does he finally acknowledge the existence of feelings, he lets her keep TJ's tea.
That's so beautiful. You're
so
so
inspiring
right.
to me.
I'm going to call the horny police and get you out of here.
Okay, so it's time for Casa Amor. Who's ready?
Dun,
This is my first Casa Amor, and
Oh my
apparently
God.
it's the saddest. They passed a law. I'm not allowed to watch a TV show where people have fun and make out. They always make
really
it
does.
I
as
know. I was
traumatic.
like,
that
this is
way.
upsetting. They clearly, I don't know. We're like, do you remember when The Bachelor copied Casa Amor but made everyone sob and it was horrible? We should do something a little more like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is not what I thought I was showing up for.
But honestly, I'm still happy we're doing Casa.
Yeah. No, this is like when your team is winning the game and you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to turn it on and watch the end. And they immediately start losing. And you're like, I did this. Like, I feel like I ruined Casa Amor by starting
It
to
actually
watch.
was you, Claire.
It
I'm
was
so
me.
sorry. You did it.
I'm so sorry. Never again. This is my last season. The villa
Liar.
has... It's not true because this is my job. The villa is having a kissing competition, sort of. A very sequiny Ariana shows up, and the boys are all blindfolded, wearing noise-canceling headphones. The girls are on the tiniest little set of bleachers you've ever seen.
I love it.
And
So cute.
they want to make sure that the women have to like press their naked bodies together, half-naked bodies together. And she has the Love Actually
Yes.
posters, cue cards to tell them that it's time for them to head to Casa Amor. And the girls all skip out of the villa with their personalized suitcases. Huda clicks her heels together, which is actually really impressive. That's not easy.
No, honestly,
Athlete.
true athlete.
Yes.
Also, I just love whenever they like have to do their like running exit with their suitcases that are so obviously empty. It makes me happy every time.
Like, I know you're stronger than me, but the way
You're
you're
not that
waving that
strong.
around.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
not
we
that
see
strong.
it later with Nick when you're just like, that suitcase is full of air.
It's like watching Rory Gilmore walking around with her coffee around Stars Hollow. I also could not stop thinking about how long the boys were standing there, unable to see or hear anything, because the women get this. Ariana comes in, the women get the message, they leave the villa, then the bombshells come in and get their instructions.
I love
and
it.
the boys have been
All of that
standing
has
there
to be shot. Like, it's like,
And I loved every moment of it. I was like, yes, make Taylor just do his little silent disco dance
There was
moves for a little longer.
also, like, clearly they're playing music in there, right? Because
yeah.
noise
they're doing a
canceling
silent
headphones
And
are
disco.
fully
also
now
Austin
noise
says
canceling.
like, move on, I don't like this song. Play a different one.
I'm like, that means they also chose not to be like, because when the girls start coming up to kiss them, the new bombshells, they all seem terrified to be touched because they aren't expecting it to come. And I'm like, the producers could have gone in their headphones and been like, we're starting.
We're starting
I
the
know.
challenge now.
The
No, they
way
wanted
that the men
that
handle
shot
this,
of Taylor's like pure terror.
Panic.
terrified. They're so docile, though. I don't know how they train them this way. They've clearly been standing for at least an hour in the sun with like blind, with all they can hear is the music coming through their headphones. And then suddenly a mouth is just like on their mouth. And they're like, oh, okay. I was just vibing here. So 5 brand new ladies enter the villa. Grayson is a 25-year-old model for an energy drink company. She is a Southern Belle and a card shark.
I was obsessed with this. I was like, a model for an energy drink company.
Very specific.
Specifically.
Yeah. They model the energy drinks on her. She is gunning for Nick. Clark, 24, is a peer mentor and cheerleader. Vanna, 21, is a social media and brand ambassador from Salt Lake City who loves the man who's obsessed with her. So back off, Huda. You're not the only one who loves that now. She's got it all. As she says, bronze, boobs, butt.
That's
Incredible.
it. That's all you need.
That's it all.
That's what makes a woman.
Vanna is gunning for Ace. And Coco is 24 from Los Angeles. She is a hair and makeup artist. And she is the whole pie. not a slice. All of you ladies are. Believe in yourselves. Jaden is a 25-year-old corporate investigator from Seattle, and according to a Nordstrom subreddit, she works for Nordstrom in corporate investigation.
Incredible.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. Jaden.
They were like, I knew she was one of us. She is a Nordstromer.
Jaden is like compelling from jump. There's just something about her affect that I'm like, say more.
It's stoner movie vibes.
It's also that she's like, I'm from Seattle. And then later she reveals that she's actually from the Olympic Peninsula in like the middle of nowhere. And it's like, that's 3 hours from Seattle. You're from Twilight Land, which is beautiful to me, but also you're maybe crazy, which is fun.
You can
I love it.
You can tell that she's, for most of her life, been like, I'm from near Seattle, which is like, as someone from South Bend, I know a lot of people would say I'm from near Chicago. And it's like, well, you're 2 hours away in a different state, but like, I guess you're sort of near Chicago. The new bombshells come in and each kiss all the guys. And unbeknownst to the guys, they've never met any of these women. I did wonder if that affected some of the votes, like if they were trying to hold out their top votes for their partners.
Oh, I think so.
Whereas
I think they were trying to guess.
Pepe, who doesn't have a partner, was giving them all 10s because he's like, who wants to couple up with this guy? I love how you make out.
10s across the board. But TJ, who also doesn't have a partner, is like, you all fucking suck.
It is crazy to me. Like, there is nothing for you to lose by being like 10, 10 and a half, 15. Like, there's no, you can't lose by doing that.
Pepe absolutely cracked the code here. You just rate everyone 10.
Perfect.
Except for the person who like pecked you on the lips. And you're like, I guess that was a 9 because she didn't really kiss me. Still a good peck, though. Amazing peck.
Pepe did this correctly. The rest of the boys,
there's no career as a kiss criticizer. So, like, this
also,
is
did
why
you
are
notice?
you doing this?
Did you notice that Taylor was just anchoring his votes to Ace every time?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, like Ace would be like, yeah, that one's 9.5. And Taylor would be like, yeah, 9.8.
Because I'm a Taylor apologist, I'm like, yeah, he was terrified when he got kissed and then forgot by the time they asked him for a score.
Every time. No, here's the thing. I actually love Taylor, but I want him to break away from Ace a little bit.
Yeah. They mostly like seem to be saving their ratings, and I think that's why Grayson gets worse ratings. She goes first. I think maybe TJ was trying to save a high rating for Iris since he's kind of been gunning for her. But I also think he's just kind of a dick. So that's my other explanation.
He gives them all like an absurdly low rating.
He gives a few people higher rate, like 1 or 2 people higher ratings, which is what made me think maybe he was trying to identify. He
could have like anchored everyone to a 7 and then gone to a 10.
No, sure, that's what everyone else did.
Yeah,
that's normal.
This is
that's
very
what a smart
much
person would
like
do.
Negging culture, right?
Well,
where it's like, if I tell them all that they're
felt.
a 6, they'll want to prove to me that they're an 8. And it's like, actually, but 5 other men here said that they were an 8. So then why would they even talk to you? That's a waste of their time.
They all just think you're an annoying asshole.
If you're going to do sexist strategy, do it right.
Be better at it.
Do it when they have no other options.
You're in a villa. Break them all 10s.
I also thought it was really funny when Vanna tried to kiss TJ and she was like, there was no chemistry. I just not even going to try. Mm-hmm. And then they end up coupled. It just goes to show that kissing in a blindfolded contest does not show you whether the person you're kissing is a super blonde conservative who fits your ideal of what a woman should be or a man should be.
Is Vanna a conservative? I thought that was Grayson.
I don't know who's conservative or not, but she is giving it the look.
She's giving.
Like, I think if I'm TJ looking at her, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah.
I think it was the two of you I was talking to about this, but I was talking to someone recently about how Love Island seems to me to be a test by NBC to see how conservative of people they can put on TV. And like still have people like them. Where I'm like, there's like something interesting happening here where it's like they are conservative, but no one's talking about politics. They are like visibly engaging with people based on political spectrums, but it's all under the table.
And also it's like this audience is one of the more left-leaning audiences as far as reality dating shows. go. You know, we went from covering Farmer Wants a Wife to this, and the anchor is in a different place politically.
I also feel like it's sort of like Target pulling back on DEI. They're sensing a vibe shift that I think they are maybe miscalculating.
Yep.
But that is what they might be going on. They're like, people actually want to see hot blonde MAGA people like bonding over.
But they're still like doing a mix.
No, yeah, they're not only doing that, but
Also,
there was a time when it felt kind of toxic to do that. And they're like, now it's cool and fine.
Yeah.
But I think also I would feel differently about that choice if it was like, oh yeah, these are all extremely hot people. But it's like there's something about like the men that they're casting where I'm like, none of these men are even that hot to me. Like all the blondes, I'm like, maybe this is just like being too far on the Kinsey scale. But I'm like, I don't understand this at all.
No, Austin and TJ, I feel like TJ is someone I could find attractive if he had radically different politics, but Austin isn't.
Yeah,
and
his vibes are so not.
Like there is something
Oddly,
that I
I
find
find-
kind of retro hot about TJ. Like he has a little bit of
Oh.
his chest hair, and like
No.
he's not like incredibly chiseled and oily in a way that I think a lot of men are on TV now, and I like that. But I very quickly kind of forgot all of that because of his personality.
No, I don't find TJ hot. I also don't really find Austin hot, but I do find his weirdo vibes kind of fun. Although he did kind of lose that in his behavior towards Amaya in this batch of episodes. But I don't know.
Yeah. I could happily do without either of them. Nick is bringing me all the weirdo energy that I need.
To be clear, they can both leave.
They can
We're
go.
done.
Bye
We're
bye.
done.
Bye bye.
So they take off their blindfolds. They see the bombshells. And she's like, it's Casa Amor. And it's different this year because you are all officially single islanders. You are not in your couple. You'll all be in a new couple for the full duration of Casa Amor. And the same is going to happen for the girls over in Casa Amor. And when everyone returns to the villa, and she's like, yes, everyone will be returning to the villa this year. There will be big decisions to make for everyone. So I didn't clock that at all.
She says everyone multiple times.
So I did clock this when it first happened because of watching Survivor, where it's like everything Jeff says is maybe a clue, like always. And so I was like, okay, she's hitting that everyone pretty hard. Like I was like, what's going on here? And then I immediately forgot about it because I was like, they don't do that on this show. And so then we'll get to it.
Well, I think my takeaway was like, oh, I guess normally all the bombshells don't come back. And it's just if they're kind of selected by an islander. And so they're saying all of the women's bombshells are going to come back with the women.
That's what
change.
That's what I thought too, Claire. That's how I took it.
Which allows you to kind of not read too much into it at the time. And then you can look back. Anyway, we'll get to it. The bombshells get to choose the boy they had the best kiss with and couple up by standing on their heart. Grayson chooses Pepe. Vanna chooses Ace. Jaden chooses Austin. Both Coco and Clark go for Taylor, and Taylor decides to choose Coco. Clark then goes for Nick. TJ is chosen by no one. And he's like, Ariana's like, so maybe you regretting all the shit you said about their terrible kissing skills.
I love Ariana, a queen.
And he's like, I was just being honest and blunt. And Ariana says, well, I'm glad the women were honest right back at you.
The way she handles TJ and then the way she handles Amaya are just so different. And that's why Ariana is a true girl's girl. And I love her.
I mean, Amaya wasn't being a dick to anyone. So he's now single and vulnerable. This is the idea. If she says if he doesn't lock in a new connection in 24 hours, he risks being dumped from the island.
And I was like, yes, dump his ass, dump him.
The boys mingle with the new bombshells, and we see Ace and Nick both bring up their strong connections, but say they are open. Nick is very interested in Jaden. Vanna tells Ace, her new partner, that she fits the Utah girl stereotype, tan and blonde. And Ace responds that he is stimulated by the mind, not the body.
Okay, Ace.
He's like, oh, you're hot? Well, that's not interesting to me.
I don't care about that.
I'm a sapiosexual, actually.
A sapiosexual and an intellectual. Sorry.
He's like, I just want Shelly back. Okay.
I would too.
She's
so
too.
Pretty.
Yeah.
This is the line I tread with Ace where I'm like, I don't trust him anymore. But
He
who
has
wouldn't
his
be so
own
into
name
Shelley?
tattooed across his back. You can't trust that. That is
Exactly.
inherently
Yeah.
Red
untrustworthy.
flag. Really
Yeah.
red flag. But yes, I too would want Shelley back in my bed.
Yeah.
So
I would miss her.
same.
Nick says that Clark isn't his typical type. For example, she doesn't seem goofy, which he needs, but he's not writing her off.
So generous of him.
Austin is psyched that Jaden picked him. He loves being picked, and she's hot, and they both have lip tattoos that say, fuck, baby. And
Incredible.
they're like, how can you compete with that?
That scene killed me. Like him being like, I have a lip tattoo, and then pulling it down with 2 fingers, and her being like, oh my God, me too. I was like, this is incredible.
And as he sees, he's like, it's a phrase. Like you can just see them in their wedding photos, like pulling down their lips to like spell it out for like an artsy black and white portrait.
Oh
with
my
their
God.
rings.
You could see it in a pregnancy announcement, right?
Just a description of what happened here.
Fuck then, baby.
They're holding.
We
they're
did
holding,
it.
We did
They're
it.
holding up a sign between them with just an arrow.
Yeah.
Taylor and Coco seem to hit it off. She's ready to lock in and have kids. He loves that. He can't stop staring at her. And immediately I was like, oh no, this is what it looks like when he is into someone.
Yeah.
Over at the
Brutal.
actual Casa Amor, the bombshell men are arriving. We meet Ilan, who is 24, a Toronto native who lives in Miami, because if you live above the Mason-Dixon line, you have to move to Florida to be on this show.
Famously.
Yeah, they were like, "Okay, you're Canadian. We got to get you to Florida." That's where they all go. Because I think everyone who's on Love Island is just like, I have like a true need in my soul to be in a bathing suit as much as possible, and that's why I belong on Love Island.
Okay, if my body looked like that, so would I.
Right,
Like I
exactly.
can't blame
I know
them.
it's like Elan. I get it.
Go for
I don't.
it.
Also, so confusing to me that he pronounces it Elan.
Elan.
I've like never. Yeah, but well, I'll respect. I respect people's choice of identity. It's okay.
Thank you, Emma. He's a tech consultant. He loves ultra marathons and meditation. He is gunning for Sierra. I kind of dig that.
Same.
They both seem cute.
Wow.
Brian,
Really
I
pretty.
love it when we disagree because I instantly was like, like, just
I like it. I'm
just,
into
I
it.
find
No,
him
Emma and I
so
liked
insufferable
Elon.
immediately.
Oh, I thought he was cute. I like him.
Well, it's all relative to the world of the show, where if I met him in real life, I'd probably be like, no, but you
But
know.
on
Oh,
the
I don't
show,
want to
you're,
hang
like,
out with
cute.
him, but I'm like, he's cute. He's cute. Get it.
He is cute. That's true.
Brian is 28 from Boston, and he is a financial accountant, as opposed to the other kinds.
A financial one, Claire.
He's a
Isn't
bartender.
he also a realtor?
Well, he's a financial accountant, bartender, and a realtor. Okay,
Yes.
Men contain
Triple threat.
multitudes. Yes.
He loves the Dominicanas, and it turns out that this means Andrina, because he is immediately locked in on her. Zach K, 29, is an international model.
Zach.
I can't with the Zach
K.
He is from Thailand by way of Manchester. He is friends with Miguel from season 6. And
Genius.
he is
Genius.
a tattooed softie who clearly knows he's beautiful enough to have a truly heinous haircut that I found
It's
really
rough.
upsetting.
It's rough.
Literally-
but he's so beautiful.
Because I'm watching Love Island UK, when he walked in, Zach K, I was like, is this guy fucking British? Before he even opened his mouth.
You were like,
Because
oh, no,
his
that he's from
hairline
Manchester.
is
It's
so
the British.
crazy that I was like, this man must be British. Like, this
Like,
is a haircut
you're like, they
only
are
British
doing
men
some
have.
weird things with male hairstyling over there across the
like,
pond.
I know a Mancunian haircut when I see one.
I was like, there's no way this man is American. Like, that's
And
not.
he is
That's
not.
And
incredible.
he's not.
Yeah.
But I do love that, like, the whole Miguel and, like, also his Bessie Louie from Too Hot to Handle, like, they're just, like, spreading out. And they're like, we've got to get all of our bros on
Yeah.
TV.
And he's
Don't
so
worry, we've got
cute.
friends.
If he
He's
fixed
very
his hair,
cute.
I would be like, great.
I know. No, I'm rooting for Zach with a K.
No, this is like being a really, hot woman wearing a really, really baggy, shapeless brown outfit. And it's
Because
like,
you
I look
can.
hot in it. Yeah, it's a flex. It's like a flex.
Yeah.
Zach C is 26. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona. I want to pause here to clarify that those are not their last initials. Those are the letters that they use to spell their names.
Their names.
Yeah, it's
And
Zach
they just
with a
treat
C, but we're
them-
going to call him Zach C.
Zach C is from Scottsdale. He's tall and has tattoos and a nose ring, and he's looking for someone to take over the world with. And immediately I was like, this man is a Bachelorette contestant. He's on the wrong
100%.
show.
Big
Like,
time.
Yeah. He's like a little boring, but he's like cute. And he has like 1 to 2 very small indicators that he's slightly alt. You
yeah.
can kill on The Bachelorette.
He's like, I'm just looking for my best friend. I'm looking for someone to like be in a power couple with.
And obviously
you know?
that's why he ends up with Iris, because they can both be boring together. And they're both very pretty.
Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding.
Oh man, she would also slay as a Bachelorette contestant
Yep.
who's barely ever in the edit. JD is 23. He's from Puerto Rico and is a 6'6" athlete. The ladies love him. He says, my presence is a present. I don't like it when men have that attitude, but so far he seems lovely.
Yeah. Then there's Chris, 27, who's like, oh, you're 6'6"? I'm 6'8", baby. And I'm also an athlete, specifically a pro basketball player, obviously.
This is the craziest casting thing I've ever seen. Like,
I
I'm
love it.
obsessed with it because it's like here at the villa, you have your 5
Short
boyfriends
kings.
who you like, who are all small guys. Like, for them, Pepe is the biggest of them, and he's like 6'2", right? Like, it's like they're all kind of small.
And they're like,
And then it's
you
like-
have to be a fucking giant.
And they're
to
like,
enter Casa
welcome to the
Amor."
villa where everyone's 6'8", like it's a redwood forest in here, and all the women are like, yay!
I know. Well, it really makes me wonder. I'm like, how tall are the like shorter guys? Because
Yeah.
you know, like
You can
if the
tell
anchor is
when, like-
6'8", it's very confusing for me.
Yeah, you can tell when like the women walk in how much shorter they all look. Like they all look way shorter.
Yeah, when
And it's
Amaya
like,
was like,
oh.
I'm 5'2", I was like, yes, this is how I feel around
but
people
she has
in my
stood
life.
next to other people at the villa, and
And
it's
you didn't
looked
realize how
normal.
short
You
she
didn't
is.
realize she was 5'2". So I'm like, this is the best casting I've ever seen, because even if these girls decide that they don't like anyone at Casa
It's so
Amor,
funny.
they're going to
It's so
trot
funny.
in the starting lineup for the Harlem Globetrotters
I know,
into the
so
villa,
good.
and these guys are going to panic.
It's like they're like, we're going to cast the villa as like Lilliput. And then Casa is prompting neck. They're like, and they will enter into the realm of giants.
It's incredible. I love it.
That's so, I didn't even notice that because I never notice how tall anyone is on reality TV unless they very specifically and pointedly stand one short person next to one incredibly tall person. And
But
I'm like,
that's how
oh, they're
you know
different
they're
heights.
all tall, is that they
Yeah.
all look short now. Like all of these women looked normal height
Yes.
before.
No, it's so true. Now that you point that out, I'm like that. Yes. And they all even comment like, oh, wow, I can't believe I'm the shortest one here. Like I'm normally the tall one. And Ariana arrives to let the ladies know they are all now single and have to recouple with the boys. And just like the boys, they get a cheeky game first, but in their case, they're not blindfolded and they have a little more control. They have to pop balloons with darts, and then there's a prompt inside that's like, kiss the 2 bombshells who
The
aren't
prompts
your
are
type or
irrelevant.
whatever.
It's
Prompts
just like,
don't
kiss
matter.
the 2 bombshells you want to make out with, and we're going
Yeah.
to give you an excuse.
Well, and some of them clearly are trying to be like, oh, this is someone I normally wouldn't make out with. And that's what the prompt said. So I'll try it. And the others are just like, now I get to make out with the 2 guys
You
I want to
and
make out
you.
with no matter what, which is the right move.
Yeah.
This is also how you know that these guys are really tall, is that some of them it was like, oh no, you need to pick her up because you can't get down there. Like it's
Yeah.
like the
I mean, I'm thinking
differential is
about
so drastic.
myself trying to make out with someone who's 6'8". Like
Yeah.
it would require.
Pick her up.
Yeah.
Well, and Chris
A
is getting a
lift.
lot of love in this game.
I
So
mean, I'm not surprised.
Shocker.
He's very hot.
Amaya kisses Chris and Zach K. Huda kisses Elon and Brian. And the way that she licks their mouths was honestly a little.
There's a lot of
Alarming.
tongue with Huda's
I've
kissing.
never
I'm gonna
gone
say
in for a kiss like that.
Andrina does it too. It was like there's a
lo-
lot of visible tongue.
A lot of them do it, but for some reason, the way they shot her kisses with Elon and Brian, I was like, she's really going in tongue first, and I don't know what's about to happen. Someone brought this up, I think, on our Rich Text chat, and mentioned that it might be because of porn, which I actually kind of agree with.
Yes.
It's like, this is what good kissing is. It's just visible tongue kind of like lapping at each other because that's what looks really sexy and performative in that setting. Sierra kisses Brian and Elan. Olandria kisses Elan and Chris. Shelley kisses Zach C and Chris. Iris kisses Zach C and Chris. Andrina kisses Zach C and Brian.
Chris.
Zach C. Zach C got a lot of love, actually.
Yeah, more
boring
than
he
I
is.
And then I start to be like, did I write some of these down wrong? I don't know. It was all a blur. So it's time to couple up. None of the boys stand on Amaya's heart or Olandria's heart, which is rude.
Very rude.
JD picks Huda. Elan picks Sierra. Chris and Zach K choose Shelley, and Shelley chooses Chris. Honestly, very bold to try to compete head-to-head with Chris.
I know, rough.
Yeah.
Zach K then gives his second choice to Olandria instead of Amaya. Zach C chooses Iris, and Brian chooses Andrina. Amaya is left single and vulnerable, and she has 24 hours to lock in a connection. And like you said, Ariana's like, how are you feeling? And she's like, I feel fine because I'm like a strong woman who knows her own worth. And everyone's
Ariana's
like,
you're so right. You have so much time. Don't even stress about it.
And she knows Amaya's a little worker bee. Amaya's going to get out there and make something happen. And she is just in complete denial about what that means for all of her friends that she desperately wants to stay.
It's rough. It's very rough. So we head into the most recent episode, and immediately they humble those of us who choose to watch this show as millennials. Mm-hmm. Because TJ is making a play for Vanna. He's 23. She's 21. He's like, wow, you're such a baby. And then they talk about how they just really have a lot in common. Like the way that they just both love throwbacks, oldies, Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm crying in Millennial right now.
I had this moment where I was like, Justin Timberlake isn't a throwback. He still releases albums. And I was like, oh my God, I sound like your dad being like, the Rolling Stones aren't oldies. They still go on tour. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I haven't accepted.
It was like, look, it's just who we are. And this is where I started to remind Claire that we could have birthed Vanna.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
We could have been 16-year-old moms birthing Vanna.
I'm sorry. I'm rejecting that information. Thank you so much for bringing it here, but I don't accept that into my heart.
It's important to remember this because sometimes I do sort of still in my head approach these people like they are peers.
Like we're the same. And then it's like, no.
And then I have to remember that I have about 15 years of life experience on them. And maybe I should like remember what an idiot I was when I was 21.
Yeah.
It's just like a really healthy, salutary reminder.
Exactly. Sometimes you need to be humbled, and we were.
Also, it's so hard to be in your early 20s. Like, I'm like, the way that you're behaving makes sense because it sucks being in your early 20s. I'm sorry, girls. Good luck.
Yeah, 100%. It softens me. Taylor says that Coco is Olandria in another body, which would really piss me off, especially because he is immediately drooling over Coco's body.
Mm-hmm. Wow, missed that. I hate it.
He later has a really good conversation with Clark and is like, it was like talking to Olandria, but she looks different. And I was like, did they do some editing stuff? Or did he say that about both of them? Does he just think all women are just different bodies with the same woman's personality inside? No wonder you're so obsessed with physical types. You're just like, whatever woman I get, her personality is going to be the same. Doesn't really matter.
It's crazy how all women have the same personality, isn't it? That's wild.
Their bodies are different, though. Some are hotter than others. So you got to take that into account. Nick pulls Jaden for a chat, and he's like, I've been looking at you all day. I noticed you right away. They discuss. He uses her like glucose monitor to like kind of flirt with her.
He says the brand name.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a nurse. So like, oh, you've got type 1 diabetes. I can really help you out. I know all about that. She's like, hot.
I loved it.
This was also fun for me because I was mad at Nick for very briefly fumbling with Sierra. And so to see him kind of like trying to scramble to be like, oh, wait, like I need to actually like flirt hard to try and get someone to like me. I was like, Yeah.
Put in that
do.
labor.
You do need to do that.
Meanwhile,
You do.
Sierra
And
doesn't
also-
have to work at all. Sierra's going to cry about Nick for her whole time in Casa and probably still get picked because she's perfect. And
Yeah, Elan is like, I'm here for you, and that's that.
That's that. Nick tells the camera that Sierra is always in the back of his mind, but Jaden is a quirky girl, and he likes that. So
I do think she's quirky. I'm like, give her more airtime. I want to know what she thinks.
No, I want to
quirky.
give her all the airtime, obsessed with her.
She really was. I did feel like I was kind of watching an aught stoner movie, and she was one of the kind of side characters, especially when she's talking to Austin. Like, that voice is very like stoner girl in a
Also,
movie.
the way she does her makeup is like kind of scary, which I respect.
She's
I'm
the
like,
alt
I
one.
love this.
Yes.
She's the alt one. She's giving a little Kat Denning. I don't know. She's doing
It's
something
fun.
different. She's also like not living in the South, so that's
Famously.
the little extra
Shocker.
flavor. Over in the Casa with the girls, Elandria tells Zach K that she doesn't have a type. She goes more off of personality, and Zach K agrees and says she's proper wise. But Elandria misses her man, and it's clear that her heart is not in this Casa experience at all. Amaya pulls Zach K for a chat, and it's like, yeah, he is like ripe to be plucked because Elandria is like, I'm not going to make out with you. I don't do that. And I'm like in a good thing. And Zach K tells Amaya that he's chill, but he does have boundaries, which is very triggering for Amaya. But the boundaries discussion goes much better than it did with Ace, and they end up kissing. And then he like asks her to keep it to herself for now, which I didn't love, because why?
In my more generous moments, I'm like, okay, if you're coupled up with Elandria and then somebody else asks you to kiss them, you might not necessarily have time to talk to Elandria before Amaya has time to talk to her, right? And it's like, if I'm in her couple, I would want to tell her first.
Right, but then he doesn't tell her.
No,
Great
and Amaya
point.
does.
I do understand like kind of why he didn't want to do it, but I think Elandria deserves information, so it pissed me off.
She deserves the world.
She deserves
She
everything.
deserves everything.
Andrina and Brian are just like locked in on each other. They're like, we're each other's type. We're so happy. Jeremiah who? Like, whatever. Moving on. And the next morning, the single islanders are really working the villa and working the casa. TJ tries to chat up Grayson, and she's like, remember how you talk shit about my kiss? And he's like, haha. Anyway, Vanna, what's up with you? And Vanna's into it. She's like, he's the whole package. He's down to flirt. And she tells him she wishes she was in his bed. And he's sort of like, oh, yeah, that's good to hear.
It's beautiful to me that people like other people than I like. I think it's so beautiful. Like, she's like, I wish I was in your bed. And I was like, what?
Why?
But I'm like, good for you, girl. I'm so happy
She wants
for
to
you.
finally hear more about his dad.
Yeah.
She heard he has got some great stories.
Throwbacks.
Amaya works the whole casa like systematically. She like is like pulling guys for chats and flirting and touching and just like really trying to make those connections. She ends up having a really good conversation with JD and with Zach K, as we said. And they make out a little bit. Also, like the people who are in couples are exploring each other. We see Ace talking to Coco about how he's really artsy and loves spray painting. Clark and Taylor apparently talk all morning. And this is when he's like talking to her as like talking in Elandria. But again, he is looking at her in a way that we have not really seen him look at Elandria. I'm like, oh no. Jaden wears her heels into the pool to talk to Nick. And
He acted like that was so crazy in a way that
I
I
found
was
it
like,
a little crazy. I was like,
it
why
is
are
a
you
little
dipping?
crazy.
It
But-
is weird.
But I was
also,
like, they have that weird little buckle on them. Like, she doesn't want to. I'm like, I relate to this girl. Like,
I thought what was
Kelsey's
more...
like, I always go to the pool in just a bikini and my
And
highest
heels.
high heels, and then
And I
I
keep
just
them
dip them
on.
right in.
Well, I will say that like it surprised me that he noticed it. It's like I don't think that usually I would expect the men to be that clued
I
into
think you
their.
would notice if someone was going into the pool with heels on. I'm saying I understand
Maybe.
why she did it because it seems really annoying to take those shoes off and put them back on. I
They have like
do
a
think
whole
it's
thing about it
crazy.
though. And she's like, I'm scared for the pool with my heels. I'm not worried about my heels. And she tells him he's so handsome that he could get modeling work even if he got a Smurf tattoo, which is something that he is really excited to hear. And he's really feeling Jaden. We also see the couples that paired up getting to know each other more. Sierra and Elon talk, and we learned that his literal type is Libras, and Sierra is a Libra, and so is his mom. So see what's going on
Libras.
there. He is a Leo, like Emma and Greg, famously.
So true. It's the best kind of person to be.
And they both love just vibing together and also having independence. So
Wow.
after this, she's feeling like they can really like go deep together. Zach and Iris chat, Zach C, and we learn that he hates cooking, which is a red flag. And Iris loves cooking and doing acts of service. So I think we all know what would happen if they ended up together.
Mm-hmm.
He asks if she likes to travel, and she says she wants to go to Australia. And she's like, have you been there? And he's like, of course. Of course I've been to Australia. I'm like, she hasn't been to Australia.
He's like, but I have because I'm a world traveler, obviously.
I was like, that's sort of a rude response to someone who hasn't been to Australia.
Also, it's hard to get to Australia.
Yeah,
it's not being like, have you been to New York? Right? Like as an American, it's like, yeah, you've probably been to New York. Australia's far.
It's very far.
It's really far. Have been there, and it's really far.
Kind of notably on the opposite side of the world.
Quite famously.
Like, something most people know. But he loves how wholesome she seems. And she's like, would you believe I once wore a dominatrix outfit? So it's not very wholesome. And he's like, what a story you have. That's crazy. Why? I don't need to see any more from these people. I'm done. JD talks to Huda about her being a mommy. And he's like, I've dated a mom before. It's Gucci. It's good. And Huda's like, cool. That's awesome. But she seems to be taking things at an appropriate pace. And JD is like, I'm really surprised by how much accountability she took for her past mistakes. Like, I was watching and I was expecting her to still be sort of in Delulu land about that. And she's not. So that's cool. Again, these bombshells are all coming in knowing exactly what went down, which makes everything very complicated.
I love it.
For
it's
her.
so much better when they're like, we have all the context. We know everything.
Yeah. And he clearly sees something in that he is drawn to. And then he's like, and she knows she messed up. So it's all good. Elandria tells Zach K that she needs to live in the South and won't kiss outside of challenges. And Zach K is like, I love that so much.
Totally. As a British man, I'd love to move to the southern United States. That sounds great.
So great.
And not kiss for days.
Mm-hmm. She's like, for like weeks. And he's like, I have like 3 days.
Yeah, I would
in Casa
really
Amor.
love to kiss while I'm at Casa Amor. And it's clear that Elandria is just like kind of going through the motions, even with her demeanor during this conversation. She's like, I miss my man. I miss my man. I want my man back. Where's my man? In the villa, Taylor is talking to Coco and saying that he can't overthink what Elandria is up to. So he's living in the moment and just kind of like not really thinking about her at all.
I can't think about her. I have to think about you and your beautiful face.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fair to you if I ever remembered Elandria. So I'm simply not remembering her. She doesn't
he's doing
exist.
fairness. He's doing justice. Okay. That's what Taylor's all about. Poor Sierra is also really going through it. She is just thinking about Nick.
She's in pain.
She's in pain. She feels sick to her stomach. I was like, I get it.
And they have a lot. Like, Nick is really trying to pursue Jaden because he's in a couple that isn't clearly built to last.
Yeah.
And so he's really embracing the process. Sierra is just thinking and thinking and thinking about Nick. So they have lots to intercut of her feeling sick, thinking about him with someone else, spiraling, crying, and him being like, Jaden's so hot. I really can't wait to get to know Jaden more. There's just something about her that's like really hot. And we see Sierra kind of like, as these emotions are bubbling up, starting to confide in the other women, like, Elon is great. I feel like we have more substance in our conversations than with Nick, but I'm always comparing him to Nick. He's always in my mind.
She's down bad.
She's down bad.
She's crying. She starts crying. She's telling them it's really hard to put herself outside of her connection with Nick. And she has to kind of run upstairs to cry in privacy.
Oh, our girl.
I love her and I hope that they get married because I'm a romantic, her and Nick. But I am like, it must feel crazy to be one of the other girls who's like not in a secure relationship back at the villa. And it's like Sierra is crying over Nick and you're like, everyone here is 6'8". Like it's like just like you're like
finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why Casa Amor is incredible.
Yeah, like Shelly is like kind of cleaning up at Casa Amor. And I'm like, good for her.
And I
badly want Shelly to leave Ace, even though I don't think she will.
I know. Well, I think that Shelly feels like she is in the Nick spot. Like she thinks that Ace has taken his time and now he's locked in on her. Yeah. And she's happy to have some time to explore and have more options. Sierra's like, we were in this sort of unstable place where I felt like I was more invested and now I'm not even there.
Everyone has been into Nick who's come in previously, which is why it's so interesting to see Nick actually scrambling. But she doesn't know that.
Yeah, she doesn't know that. Yeah, it's... The thing is that, like, I don't want to see everyone crying and be devastated all the time, but at the same time, I want to see people invested in their love stories, and that's what makes it kind of hard to connect with Shelly. As much as I like her as a person, I can't connect with her love story with Ace because she just seems so unbothered that I'm like, do you care? Like, are you falling in love? It's hard to, like, follow an arc. So the recoupling approaches, and the men are all like strategizing together. They're feeling out the ladies. Jaden is torn between Austin and Nick. Coco is torn between Taylor and Ace. Vanna has moved on to TJ. They are literally wearing the same necklace. Like they are the same.
It's like, you know what? Let the 23-year-old and 21-year-olds go off together. It feels right.
It's beautiful.
They should be at a frat party right now, but this will do. Amaya tells Elandria that she and Zach K kissed. Like shortly before the recoupling. She's like, I have to tell you. And Elandria is very gracious and like, that's fine. And I appreciate that you came to me directly. And that like speaks to who you are and our friendship. And like, thank you so much. It's very sweet.
Here's the thing. Elandria does not really care because she doesn't like Zach K.
Yes.
She just doesn't want to go home.
Right. But like, she doesn't seem to be making any plans to not go home.
I think she's sort of like, it is what it is. You see her sort of resign herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the girls' recoupling begins with Amaya standing up, and any boy who has a better connection with her than their partner is instructed to stand. And Zach K stands, and they become a couple. And immediately Amaya's like, no, Elandria, no, fuck, like sobbing. And I'm like, this is the outcome you are trying to make happen, which is fine. But did you know that that was going to happen?
Yeah.
Were you
we got to think about the consequences of our
Amaya's
actions.
just like, but I want all my girlies to stay. I don't want to go. But
I want to admit that this was the point in the episode when I began to crash out. Like, I was like, I don't understand why Elandria is going home. I don't understand what's wrong with any of these men.
I think we all started to really melt
like,
down.
On a downhill
You
slope.
were. The three of us were on text together. And the whole time, I was just like, guys, there has to be another twist. There has to be.
You were being reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still frustrating because why is there always some boring ass person for the other boring ass person to couple up with, but there's no one for Elandria? It pisses me off.
The most beautiful girl in the world
there for her.
Also, we didn't need a recoupling like this. Like no one had. I mean, I'm reserving judgment. We will see what they are ultimately trying to do with this, given what we see at the end of the episode. But I was like, what? Why are we doing this?
I do think it's partly to motivate people like Elandria to pursue connections while they're in Casa, right? Because she's clearly kind of waiting it out. And it's like, you can't do that because you will get dumped. But she did it anyway. But I think that the dumping was supposed to motivate people who just wanted to wait it out and get back with their partner to genuinely get in the mix. And she just abstained.
I understand why they did it, but I also like, as a viewer, I'm like, it's hard to see all of these people having a breakdown over a dumping that doesn't feel fair. right? Like, it's like you're dumping her from a section of people who she just met when she had a real connection back home. Like, it sucked.
No, that's completely true, and it really sucks, and it really pissed me off. And I think maybe that's why they were trying to clearly split the difference of like having that motivating effect, and them being like, but obviously we're not going to totally dump from the island people who are really crucial to the overall arc of the season.
Yeah.
But at this point, I was completely melting down, and the women are all crying off their foundation. Elandria is sitting stonily and calm. She tells Amaya, like, I'm not mad at you. You're good. And she's like, look, y'all don't see me crying. It's fine.
Oh.
She said something in this whole stretch where I was like, ooh.
Well, someone said you're
I've
so
always
strong,
had
and
to
she
be
said,
strong
and
or
she said, no
something.
one's going to be strong for me. I've had to be the strong one.
And I was
basically.
like, ugh.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Like,
Gut punch.
yeah.
And Zach K says he feels like a villain because he knows they're like sisters, and he doesn't
Which
want to be the
sucks.
reason that she
I
goes.
do feel bad for Zach K, and they all seem to be trying to be like, no, you're not. It's like no one here is doing anything wrong.
They're like, we
but
don't
the
blame you. We
situation
blame the
sucks.
powers that be, the
Exactly.
billionaires and millionaires who are setting our fates in motion just to reap the profits. And then they all became socialists.
But Elandria is like, look, don't you worry. Taylor and I will find each other. I'm going to get my cowboy.
It's like, Elandria, no.
No.
I was also like, they all seem sure here that she's the one going home. So I have to assume that the edit was correct, that she did not make any effort to get to know any of the other bombshells.
Yeah, I think that was accurate.
Because obviously they're all going to have a chance to recouple before the final choice is made. They get that prompt to stand up if they feel a better connection with Elandria, but no one does. And so she has 30 minutes to leave. And they all completely break down. They go to help her pack and are literally howling with grief, and especially Huda, who could probably be heard from 3 islands over. She is using her full lung capacity to wail, and the bombshells can hear them. Like, it must sound really unsettling.
Well, this is a question that I have, is that I'm like, from the drone footage, it does not seem like these houses are that far apart.
They're not. Last season, they could hear cheers from the other villa.
So I'm like, if all of these girls are screaming and crying,
could they hear?
Can you hear it? Right?
If
and
I
then
heard
like,
that from the villa, I would be like, something really horrible has happened.
Oh, yeah, no,
like
I would
an
be
accident.
Terrified.
You'd be like, is my girl gone? Is someone dead?
Is someone dead? Did anyone hear an ambulance? Like, what's the context here? And Zach K asks to talk on the way out, and she says, no, you can save your words. So she blames him a little bit.
Brutal.
She's clearly she's very appreciative that Amaya told her directly, and she is clearly not happy that Zach did not.
Mm-hmm.
She walks out with a smile and a little booty waggle, and she's putting on such a brave face. But after she leaves, she does cry in her confessional and tells the camera that she wants to find love so bad. And I want that for her. Upset. And then she's like, Taylor is going to find me. It's fine. I'm going to get my cowboy. And I'm like, he's not. He is just coasting with you. And that makes me so mad. The boys recoupling starts with TJ.
A lot more action. More action in this recoupling.
TJ stands up to be chosen, and Vanna stands up for him. This leaves Ace to be chosen, and Coco leaves Taylor for Ace. Taylor stands up to be chosen, and Nick whispers, "Don't leave me, baby," to Clark. But obviously she does. I know, that's the thing. I'm just like,
I know, I love
knew
it.
She was gone, right? Like,
obviously.
Right. He says it with a smile and a laugh, like, of course she's going to leave, but it still kind of sucks when he has to stand up and is not chosen. And Jaden is clearly going back and forth and stays in her seat. The men all surround him with a huddle hug, and Jaden starts crying. She clearly feels guilty. It's so different from the Elandria dumping too, because both these men really went out of their way to connect with her, and she probably wanted to keep getting to know both of them.
Yeah.
And so she couldn't just save Nick and then Austin would be gone. Like
at this point, I was really crashing the fuck out. Like we
Yeah.
were all texting, and I was
okay.
like, I don't care if there's a twist. This sucks, and I hate it.
I mean, I was very panicked, but I was like, no. There
It can't be.
Well, okay. When I saw it was Elandria and Nick, I was like, these are
There's no way.
the two most popular individuals on this season.
Famously, like
Yeah,
we
like,
voted.
I don't believe that producers would be like, yeah, now they're gone. They just wouldn't.
Yeah, but there's something about the way that they like let them mourn in the house.
Oh, it's mean. It's
that
so
I was
mean.
I was like, this is awful.
That's when I started texting you.
Bad.
This is the Bachelorette school of Casa Amor.
after Elandria, I think I was sort of like, well, they're not going to take Nick from me. And then you guys were like, oh my God. And I was like, oh no, I have a really bad feeling that it's not Austin going home because they seem upset. And they did, in fact, take Nicolandria from us. But
they
then
took Mamacita's little meatball from her.
this little meatball. And then, like, I felt even more sad because he's taking out his photo booth pics to pack up, and he says to the guys, "I never even got to do my date with Sierra, bro."
I
like,
know.
He was looking forward to that, and I'm like,
The love story we need.
But as Nick walks out, an SUV with a license plate reading "Love" pulls up, and what's that? Is there someone with long flowing locks inside? Elandria opens the door and she calls to him, "Nick, hurry up and get in. Hurry up."
He
And
looks stunned.
He looks stunned and she looks happy, which is very, so I was like, okay, this is good. And Nick just grabs his empty ass suitcase and throws it right in the car.
And they could be doing anything in that SUV together.
Yeah, this
Nicolandria
is
is real.
This is game over for the Nicolandria believers. Like, oh, they were in an SUV that we haven't seen footage of.
Interesting.
What could have happened?
What could happen in there?
It's so cruel that they were like, we're going to make you wait 2 whole days to know.
I know. I'm
To get any
Wow.
answers. And we're going to be doing our live show when this airs, which I think is a crime against me and Claire specifically.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
How dare they?
I'm sorry
crazy
this is
that-
happening.
It's crazy that all the decisions production is making around this season are designed to personally hurt me.
I know. I'm so
I
sorry,
know,
Claire.
I know.
I didn't realize I had so much power. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us for this batch. I have not had this much fun in a long time. Can you tell us any final thoughts you have on this season before we let you go?
Ugh, my final
Have
thoughts
we covered
are,
anything?
I'm just going to reiterate something, which is that,
Okay.
you know, in the beautiful season where Boss and Rob and Amber find love on Survivor and then get engaged, I'm like, we haven't had one of those in like 20 years. And I'm like, couldn't, please,
Yeah.
Nick and Sierra, please
Do
I need
it.
this.
do it for me.
We need it.
I want to believe love is real.
Yeah, no pressure, but like we need you to show us that love is real.
Yeah, a little bit.
Also, to wrap up this batch, we like to all check in on whether this batch of episodes was our type on paper out of 10, 10 being exactly our type on paper to a T, 1 being the opposite of our type on paper. Who would like to go first?
Claire, why don't you go first?
Okay, well, for me, I think that this batch of episodes was like a 4. I really had a hard time with watching Nick and Elandria leave me. I really struggled with Hannah leaving. I was like, I'm seeing more of the pain and losing people that I want to see explore their love stories rather than the thrill of romance. But I do have some hope that, you know, my little love story that I'm watching unfold will go somewhere. So that kind of keeps it from being the opposite of my type on paper.
I'm going to give these episodes a 9 in terms of being my type on paper, in that they were horny, they were funny, and there was a lot of drama. But then in the end, the people that I liked the most didn't leave forever. had Nick and Nicolandria left forever, I would
then it
be
would've
like,
been like a
negative
1.
18.
Yeah.
Negative 18.
You're grading on the Pepe scale.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I see these episodes were such a journey for me because there were like some really low lows, some moments where I was like, this is the opposite of my type on paper. Like the votes and like, you know, the Jeremiah and Hannah exits.
Yeah.
But then the end, okay, there were really big moments of joy, like the Megan Thee Stallion twerking contest and all the horniness, plus the emotional roller coaster that ended in triumph with seeing this little teaser of Nicolandria and Nick. So I'm struggling to rate these. I think I'm gonna go like a 6.5 here,
TJ,
because it's sort of no, I learned from Ace and Taylor. You can say like 6.8.
I'm gonna be Taylor here. I'm changing my rating to a 6.875.
Yeah.
Now that I've heard you say that,
Yeah.
thinking something that's just like 2 decimal points away from what you said.
So yeah, that's where I'm landing. This was like a real fucking journey. And yeah, there were moments that were a 10 and moments that were a 1 for me. So I've got to sort of even it out with a cool 6.75.
Beautiful.
I think part of why my rating is so high is genuinely, I've watched so much television in my life, like an infinite amount of television.
Same.
Obviously, the two of you have also. I have never seen anything on primetime TV like the Milk Challenge. Like,
You know what? You are
Yeah.
correct.
You're like,
that's
I'm going to rate
crazy.
this a 9, and that is exclusively because of the Milk Challenge.
Pretty much. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's crazy that you came up with this and
You
aired
honestly
it.
are so right.
Yeah. Oof. Well, that's beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for your ratings. Kelsey, would you like to tell our listeners where they can find you?
Oh, sure. I'm on every social media at @McKinneyKelsey, and you can find my writing at defector.com.
Amazing. Everyone go check out Kelsey's work, as I'm sure you already have, because she is iconic. Thank you so much for being here. And
Happy 10 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We love you
please-
so much.
I love you
Please keep
both.
watching so that we can make you come back sometime, because I'm going to need
I'm
your take.
so locked in.
She's
It's
locked
like,
in.
I'm
She's so locked
super
in.
locked
She's
in.
so locked in. Like, in fact, she's closed off.
Yeah,
So,
I'm closed
no
off.
backing out now.
And on that note, that's it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. This show is produced by us, Claire Fallon and Emma Gray. This episode was edited by John Bahar. Our theme music is by Tamar Haviv, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like the show, please follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, and of course, tell all of your friends about our show, maybe using cue cards that you show them in a moment of silence.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. And you can find our newsletter Rich Text on Substack at claireandemma.substack.com.
I'm also on Blue Sky at Emma Gray and on Instagram at Emma Lady Rose.
And I'm at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Aaron Constantino, Kate Rose, Moira Curran, Melissa Wester, Carly Snyder, and Hillary Schiff.
We'll be back very soon.
Can you keep